TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Sevens Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay, Murtagh, Precast.
Fáilte go nuaisle go dtí TEG Cusick Park, and welcome to Eirvy TV and Cusick Park TEG here in Mullingar for this afternoon's final round of the Shay Murtagh Precast Intermediate Football Championship. Paul Doolan here on commentary for Eirvy TV, and I'm joined this afternoon by Paul Ahern. Paul, you're very welcome. First game of the season, I suppose, in Co-Coms here today, but this is a game that really is, all that matters is who's going to finish top of the group here, really. If Shandonagh win it, they're straight to the top of the group, 5 out of 5, whereas for Tubberclair, if they win it, they go top of the group. So they're both qualified for a quarter final at least at the moment, but whether they make a semi-final, I think Shandonagh will make a semi-final no matter what. Tubberclair can make a semi-final by winning here today.
Yeah, so it's all to play for. You get to the semi-final, you get an extra week's break, a bit of time to recover, rehab injuries, prepare yourself for a semi-final, see who's going to be playing against you. So, while they're both qualified, you might kind of have the impression that it'll be a bit of a dead rubber and they don't have much to play for. There actually is a lot to play for today. And that week break, we discussed it here last year on it. The fact that the quarterfinals are coming up directly next week, you have 7 days, it's not a long time to try, as you says, recovery, get lads back into it, and to have the week's break would be a huge advantage for either side here today. Shandonagh, of course, looking to come straight back up, relegated last year from senior ranks. They're looking to come straight back up here to have a 100% record so far, and probably the team to beat in the intermediate championship so far this season. Yeah, no, certainly. They've been going well and put down a marker very much from the start, and Tubberclair to a degree, apart from their kind of narrow loss to Milltown, I think it was. And I think that's another kind of dimension in terms of, besides kind of playing for those semi-final spots and the little break and a little bit extra time to prepare and so on, is you want to keep the momentum going. A loss at this stage of the season, no, it's not fatal for either of them, but it could disturb their momentum in terms of how they've been going throughout the year from that point of view. So yeah, and with that in mind, Paul, we see that Matthew Whittaker wasn't listed in the starting programme, but he's actually in. He's wearing the number 33 jersey. That's a huge fill-up for the Tubberclair men. Probably their go-to player over the last couple of seasons, has been playing well, particularly with Westmeath even. And he's one of their star players going forward. Great to see him back, actually. Yeah, Mark playing him as well. Curious, Paul, he wasn't even listed among the subs when we arrived earlier. And then I have a feeling that there was a major doubt over an injury concern to him. And on the other side, we see that there's Shandonagh have 4 changes to the named 15 today. They're losing Cathal Craig, Garrett Carr, Aaron Craig and Kevin Boyle. 4 very experienced, very top class players for Shandonagh over the last number of years, and to lose them coming into this game, it's obviously not ideal. The replacements though, Shandonagh are one of the few teams that have
quite a bench here, you know. They're a really strong side, and they're a really strong panel of players, because over the last number of years they've been building at underage level, and Mullingar agus Chuckisha.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you look at the four that are coming in: Adam Trainer, Ben Trainer, Tom Malloy, Darren B2. Like, you know, they're starters. Like, you know, I mean, you're not going to weaken the team anyway at all. You're looking at the team sheet when you come in, and you're looking at those four names, and not disrespect to any of the rest of the boys, and you're going, how are they not starting? Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's certainly not weakening the Shandonagh team in any stretch. Yeah, and while that's a good cue into it, and we'll name the teams here. We'll give you Shandonagh first. In goals is Cian Malloy. The full back line, Cathal Craig doesn't start. He's replaced by number 21, Darren Bitu. Number 3 is Matthew Scully. Number 4 is Brendan Killian. Number 5, Garrett Carr does not start. He's replaced by number 17, Adam Trainer. 6 is Danny Scahill. He's the captain. And 7 is Dara Conway. Middle of the field, there's also a change. Aaron Craig does not start. He's replaced by number 18, Ben Trainer. And Caleb Faulkner is at number 9. Cormac Gordon wears 10, Conor McCrossan at 11, and Luke Tynan completes the half-forward line at 12. Ryan Donnelly at 13, Brian Kavanagh at 14, and Tom Malloy comes in at top of the left, wearing number 20 instead of number 15, Kevin Boyle. There's only one change to the Tubberclair team. Kevin Fagan is in goal, Stephen McGonigal is at 2, Cathal Tighe at 3, and Taylor Slevin at 4. James Madden is at 5, Tom Kelleher at 6. Oisin O'Mara at 7 does not start. He's replaced by number 33, not listed in the programme, but that's Matthew Whittaker. Sean Claffey is at the centre of the field wearing 8, and Owen McCabe is wearing 9. Paul Keegan is at 10, Fred Keller at 11, and Tom Burke at 12. Finn Duffy at 13. 14 is Keelan Connell, and 15 is Gavin Delaney. Your referee for this afternoon's contest is Enda Kenny. And Paul, looking down those lineups, Tubberclair, many of those Tubberclair lads, we would know them well, particularly from a Shamrocks point of view. They've come through minor, under 20 over the last couple of years. Shandonagh probably coming to the end of their successful period at minor and under 21. A nice good team coming through this year as well. But it's a clash really here of youth and experience, I suppose, and from both sides of it as well. Yeah, no, definitely, and I think actually the most exciting thing about looking at some of the names is the forwards on both sides. There are some really, really exceptional score getters in both of those teams, and you know, their opportunities to take their scores. I think it'll be whichever forward line fires better, or whichever back line closes down better, will be the team that might edge it. But yeah, I'd be expecting a very close game. Not overly great conditions, I suppose. There's a bit of a wind blowing here in TT Cusick Park. It's very dark, it's very overcast, but that'll matter little to either side. It's going to be a bit of a ding-dong battle here, I think. Of course, they'll be paying a little bit of an eye to other results going around the county as well today. All the intermediate games, I suppose, on at this time. So it's going to be a tough, and you know, Enda Kenny, one of the young up-and-coming referees, I suppose, here in Westmeath. He's the man in the middle here today. I see Owen McCabe is banging the centre for the throw, and up he goes, but he's beaten to it. Indeed, it wasn't him. It was the number 15, and there's quite a number of positional changes, Paul, and I'm not even going to try to go through them, because it's the typical modern game. You could be named at any position and wind up anywhere in it, but it's Tubberclair come on the first attack. That's Tom Kelleher now. Gives it into Whittaker. Whittaker looks up, sees a little bit of space but doesn't go any further. He ships it on to James Madden. Madden now back to Whittaker, gets a little bit of space. Does he see a little pocket? He doesn't. Goes into Fred Kelleher now. Kelleher looks up and see the Whittaker is out there making a backdoor cut. Whittaker goes in around it. No free. Looked like a free there to me, but it's good defending by Shandonagh. In fact, it's gone wide. It's gone wide. Yeah, no, good tackling from Shandonagh there. I mean, Fred Kelleher, really good game the last day. 2 goals, point, I think. Yeah, and he's a player that has impressed us, Paul, over the last number of games that we've seen him. Particularly, he's a youngish enough man. He's only 23, 24. He's great vision, like his mobility on his feet there, just to dance around 2 tackles. And Dara Conway gives it into Darren Bitu and takes it back. Conway now looks up and sees there's a man free. That's his fullback. The fullback has Shandonagh's first attempt on goal. That's Matthew Scully. And Matty Scully has kicked it to the left and wide. So wide a piece here. I don't think he's playing fullback somehow. Yeah, he's named at fullback again. I think he's actually playing. Is he playing centre half back? It looks like centre half back. No, it's just they're setting up for a kick out. It's hard to see. Good work, Joe, left by Darren Bitter there. Did well. Tries to get it to McCrossan. McCrossan doesn't get it, but it's going to be a free in anyway.
It's going to be a free in for Shandonagh, halfway between the 45 and 65. And there's Conor McCrossan, of course, also a real good hurler with Loughlin Gales, but hasn't tugged out for them, as far as I can remember, for the last 2 years. Tom Malina off the left foot. Tom, it's short, it's into the hands of Kevin Fagan. Fagan looks up and sees that it's the number 15. That's Gavin Delaney. Gavin Delaney named it 15, but more well known as a midfielder, and that's looks like his position. He actually looks like he's a holding midfielder, Paul. Would that be fair to say?
Kind of Tubberclair look like they're playing 3 across the middle, even 2 inside, which is, I think it looks like Adam Traynor is kind of the spare defender as a result for Shandonagh.
Yeah, and probably not ideal for Tubberclair, because if Adam Traynor likes the position, he likes to be in that libero role. He's a real good footballer, and he can go box to box for 60 minutes, you know, real star quality in him. Out it comes to McGonigal now. Right into the corner, into James Madden. Looks up. It's patient for Tubberclair. They're looking for it. Owen McCabe, of course, star with Westmeath this year. Gives it out to the other midfield partner, that's Sean Claffey. Straight away goes into Tom Burke now. Burke is outside the D, takes a bit of a swipe at it. For anybody going to get there, Fred Keller goes up for it. Fred Keller gets it, actually. It wasn't Fred that went up for it. Indeed, it was Delaney went up for it. Kelleher sees that James Madden is free on the right-hand side. Madden trying to get it around again. Tubberclair, they're patient. They're taking their time. They're working it around the edges, looking for that little gap inside. Eventually goes in, and it's full forward. Keelan Connell. Keelan tries to get a hand over, and I'm afraid it's gone for a 50. And he did well there, really, because it wasn't a great ball in, Paul.
No, it was too close to the ground. It was actually the idea was good. The execution wasn't the best in terms of just finding that little pocket of space.
The operation was a success, but I'm afraid the patient is dead. Is that the scenario?
Not quite, but it could have been better.
And it's a quick 45. It's going to be the first attempt and goal here for Taylor Slevin. Taylor Slevin has hit an absolute beauty there, Paul. And that's a 2-pointer, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, definitely. He was well outside the arc for that one.
But he caught that as clean. They're lovely when they go over, Paul. When you miss hit them, though, it's a bit of a nightmare. But that was a beautiful strike by Taylor Slevin, and Tubberclair off the mark. 2 points to no score here. 4 minutes in to this.
It's just the game needs a bit of pace now. I mean, both teams are a little bit pedestrian in their kind of build-up, and as a result, you're having this kind of patient play in the forwards, moving it around, trying to create opportunities.
Adam Traynor now. Traynor gives it out to Darren Bishop. Back at the Traynor. That was a bit of a hospital ball, and there's 3 Tubberclair men around him, but unfortunately they fouled him. Adam Traynor keeps on the go. He's got 2 men to his left. Can he pick out one of them? Traynor decides he's going to keep going with the ball. Danny Scal. Scal gets it out. That's a lovely ball. Back to Scal. Scal, is he going to have a go? Took a lot of steps with that ball. It's spotted by Enda Kenny, and he had men available there to him, Paul. That was a good move by Shandonagh.
I was like a real injection of pace, and I know he kind of tried to create the goal opportunity, but just the
and there's another one of the new rules. Back chat to the referee, and it's 50 yards. And Paul, we've commented on this. Players have copped on to this rule, and in general, it has been a rule that has been well obeyed. We've seen very little back chat to referees this season. That's a high hanging ball from Owen McCabe, but I'm afraid it's high and hanging to the right hand side, and it's gone out for a second wide for Tubberclair. Just getting back to that point, it's something that and was badly needed in the game. Let's call a spade, Paul. We have to have a little bit of respect.
Look, it's not really necessary. To be honest with you, if you're spending time talking to the ref, you're not concentrating on the game. And all it took was a little rule change, and suddenly everyone's focus went away from what we were saying to referees. And to be honest with you, that's maybe the first or second time I've seen that in a match.
I think it's probably the second, and we've watched a lot of games here in TG Cusick Park, and it's only second or third time I've seen it here in certainly this year's championship. And we don't have referees, we don't have games, simple as that. And if you're going to respect your fellow team players, and you're going to respect the players you're playing against, you also got to respect the referee. That's turned over though by Fred Kelleher. It's a good move here by Tubberclair. Kelleher gets it back after a couple of passes. Kelleher strikes low, but it's tipped over the mar by Cian Malloy, and that all came, Paul, from a defensive mistake from Shandonagh. They haven't started in their usual fashion. They have been slow in their build-up. They have been ponderous. at the defence, and it's 3 points to no score to Shandonagh.
It was good work by Tubberclair in terms of their press, and Shandonagh player got isolated, and they worked the turnover very well to create that opportunity. But definitely Fred is goal on his mind, even from 20 yards.
There's a great catch from McCabe, gives it on straight away. Tom Burke now. Burke strikes it, he's just inside the arc, and Tom Burke pops that one up and over the bar, and it's just that simple, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, look, a well-worked score, but so now it's like 4 points, no score. Daniscal had a chance just to pop the ball over the bar, get the scoreboard taken for Shandonagh, tried to create a goal chance, got pulled for over carry, and Tubberclair go down, and now they've got 2 scores in a row. I think sometimes just decision making in the kind of the stage of the game, it's kind of just keep getting the scoreboard.
And they've played all the football, and then again there's another defensive mistake, foul on the ground. Matthew Whitaker is going through. Whitaker looks up and sees the Laney. Laney can't hold on to it, and Paul, just as we say that, the rain has come down here in sheets. It's a very, very wet afternoon here in TG Cruise, and people scampering for cover all over the pitch here. And again, we've talked about this, not giving the ball back and straight away into Kenny. It's that's all players are looking for, a bit of consistency, and he was absolutely consistent with that. No, don't retreat, bring it on 50 yards. That's the punishment now, and you know the rule. If you can't obey by it, you have to suffer it.
Yeah, not like when you do that in their defence, it's not so much a punishment.
When you're doing an attack, I agree with you.
Gets the ball into a scoring position for free or something like that, then it can be really punishing.
Caelan Faulkner now gets it over onto the far side to Ryan Donnelly. Donnelly gives it back to Malloy. He's the playmaker normally for Shandonagh. It's strange to actually see him wearing a number 20 jersey today, because he's been very instrumental. Actually has played a couple of games at wing half back for Shandonagh. But it's all different today. Back to McCrossan now. McCrossan having a look. Doesn't see anybody moving. Not enough movement anyway, and it's shipped back again. Cormac Gordon. Gordon, he's inside the D. Decides to come back out again. Again, that's good pressure by Tubberclair. They're into the face, they're up and at it. Cormac Gordon is going to try from outside the area, but that's a rather tame kick, Paul, and again, it's a wasted opportunity for Shandonagh.
Twice now Shandonagh have shot from distance and
haven't even been close.
No, not connected, it's fallen short.
No, it hasn't been close.
You're nearly better off those balls going down.
It's just Tubberclair have settled probably, Paul, that little bit better.
Yeah, they've just a bit more pace and a bit more purpose about what.
Ball in from Tom Keller, that's a beautiful ball. Finds his full forward, Keelan Connell. Now Connell shifts it back out to Fred Keller. Keller with the brightest boots in Cusick Park, I can tell you that. I think they're nearly luminous at this stage. But he gets it out way over onto the far side. That's out to Taylor Slevin, the man that got the first score of the game, with a 2-pointer here. Tubberclair building and building again. Back it comes. Owen McCabe now, of course, with inter-county experience with Westmeath, gives it in, but that's extremely well done by Dara Conway to get his hand in there, and eventually it's turned over now. Can Shandonagh make something of this? Can they go back up the field from that break and get the ball up the field, get the opening score of the game? Matty Scully now gives it into Tom Malloy, but Tom doesn't see a whole lot in front of money. A wall of green jerseys, somehow gets it back to Caelan Faulkner. It's a ball touch, but eventually it does come to Scully. Scully is still in retention of the ball, gives it out to Donnelly out to Danny Scahill. Scahill sees that there's a man coming off his shoulder. That's Luke Tynan, and is Luke after scoring the first goal? Yes, he is. First score of the game for Shandonagh. A well-worked move, Paul. They were patient that time. Lost it, but got it back again. A nice score from Shandonagh, their first score of the game. But they still trailed 4-1 here after 10 minutes here.
Yeah, it was all very, very tight and close quarters. And I was kind of wondering whether they'd actually get the ball out into space, but they worked it really well, and Luke Tynan had a good finish.
James Madden has gotten a lot of ball. That's Paul Keegan, one of the stars of the minor team here for Tubberclair over the last number of years. Got it back into Finn Duffy. Duffy now. Eventually it comes back. Gavin Delaney now. He's a big, big man, P. You know, probably the modern type of footballer now. Large, mobile, has a good pair of hands in him as well.
Very athletic.
Extremely athletic. Into Fred. Again it comes back. James Madden has got on a mountain of ball, but this time he's lost it, has he? No, it eventually comes back to McCabe. McCabe looks up and sees that there's a man over on the far side. That's his centre half back. Shifted back again. Chance here now for Tom Burke. Tom Burke strikes it, but
I was really
It was a bit of a poor shot selection now. He had. Again, Tubberclair have been so patient so far, and that was a bit of a snapshot, Pete.
It was kind of, they've been really patient, and that's kind of first time they've really, there was another occasion, it might have been Tom Burke as well, where he kind of didn't connect with it either, and he was kicking that from a standing position, which it's kind of hard to execute, given the weather conditions here. Now, the one thing I'd say, Paul, is like, Shandonagh are under a bit of pressure, their kickouts. That one's gone out over the sideline. I think that's about the third one.
It's not wind affected, Paul. You and I are looking at the flag here, so it's not wind affected. It's just that Tubberclair are in the face. They've really pressed up on that kickout, and it's working extremely well. Ball into the corner. Nobody got their hands on it. Eventually it comes back up to Tom Burke. Tom Burke is after going through the whole way, and that's a decent stop as it turned out in the end, because that didn't look good. Another chance, and it's a goal. It's a goal. Paul Keegan gets the goal, and Paul, 2 chances for Tubberclair that time. The first chance was Tom Burke. He had a real chance to get it through, but eventually Shandonagh had muffled that chance. A good save by Keane Malloy. But there was no Shandonagh player waiting for it, and the man that was waiting for it was Paul Keegan, and he just simply slotted it into the back of the net, as simple as you like.
Absolutely. I mean, it started with a beautiful pass into a lovely little pocket of space that ended up with Tom Burke cutting in along the end line and having the first shot, which was well saved, and then the ball just broke, and it was just slotted away soccer style, really, really nicely by Paul Keegan.
And probably the right choice, Paul, because he wouldn't have had time to pick that ball up. And he did pick a spot. You could almost see him picking the spot.
He placed it, because there was plenty of bodies around him.
And after 13 minutes here in TEG Cusack Park, it's 6 points dividing the sides. It's Tubberclair 1-4 to a point to Shandonagh, and even at this early
again was a problem there for Shandonagh. They got turned over when they 2 passes off the kick out and got turned over, and luckily enough there was a foul afterwards that gave Shandonagh back the ball, but they're under a small bit of pressure now. They just look a little bit flat. There isn't a lot of tempo in the way they're playing at the moment, and I'm sure they won't be happy with that.
Yeah, and they seem to be panicking a small bit on the ball, Paul.
They're taking it into contact.
They're taking it far too much into contact, and Tubberclair are in their face from the start. Interesting to know, Gavin Delaney has picked up Danny Scahill from the start of this game. And that looked like was that a yellow card, Paul?
Yeah, that was a yellow. Now I didn't see what it was for.
It's number 12 anyway. It's Tom Burke, who has scored on it, and I didn't see what it was for. I'm sure somebody in the press box here might have some idea of it, whether it's backshot or whatever, but it's going to be a yellow card. To be quite honest with you, I didn't even think it was a free, because I don't think the Shandonagh player was in the attempt of picking up the ball. He was actually going for it, and it was given us that he was fouled in the attempt of picking it up. Eventually comes up Aaron Conway now. Shandonagh need a score. Tom Malloy, great work by Malloy, gets it into the forward line. Scahill looks up and sees Malloy is free again. It's not gone to Malloy again, Paul. And it has been the problem so far with Shandonagh. Did well to win it back, but again it has been the problem. They've lost an awful lot of those simple ball here. Conor McCrossan does well to get it back to Darren Bittu. Bittu looks up and sees that Matty Scully is free. He gives it into Donnelly. Donnelly is a long way out, but he tries to tread the needle there. And to be quite honest with you, Paul, that was never ever going. Tom Malloy would have had to been Harry Houdini to try and get the ball out of that, because it really was a poor pass. And even if he got it, where was he going?
There was 3 players around him,
and that's the difference so far, I suppose, Paul. The transition from defence to attack for Tubberclair has been so much better and so much quicker and so much more injective, I suppose, than Shandonagh so far.
Well, even when it slows down, Tubberclair are generally picking the right pass and being patient when it slows down like it is now. They're retaining the ball well, they're not taking it into contact. It's greasy out there. You take the ball into contact, all it takes is a little
nice ball in from Matty Whitaker, but I'm afraid the finish wasn't a match.
Finest moment.
No. Tom Keller won't be looking at the highlight reel of that one anyway. We can guarantee it was a lovely move and a nice ball in.
But that's kind of an example of Tubberclair. They're not taking the ball into contact. It's greasy ball. It can be easily dispossessed of. Being patient when they have to be patient. When they transition, they have a lot of pace. And that's going out.
Yes, that's going out over the sideline. And You're right, Paul. You mentioned it earlier on. Shandonagh are in trouble from their kickouts, and there's another example of it straight away. Whitaker now takes on 2. Eventually gets it back to Gavin Delaney. Delaney looks up. There's still a free man over the far side, and Tubberclair have men all over the pitch. That's Finn Duffy. Delaney is named at 15, Paul. I don't think he's played one moment there in that corner of the pitch at all whatsoever. He's really the libero, I think, more than anything else. He's playing right across the centre of it there. There's a lovely ball to find.
Good effort for 2 pointers from Tom
Burke.
Burke, but the
Again,
wind is actually kind of blowing that way.
yeah, it's a fifth wide for Tubberclair, Paul.
Really, yeah.
You know, Shandonagh have only had one. It's still, though, they still lead by 6-1-4 to a point here. 70 minutes gone in TEG Cusack Park, and 17 minutes that has been virtually dominated by the men in green and gold. Let's be honest about it. Shandonagh really haven't settled, and there's another mistake from the kick out. Another chance for a second goal here. Is it Tubberclair going to get it? No, he's pulled across it. Oh, Tom Burke.
Tom Burke nearly had way too much
Could have
time
nearly
to
put the
keep it.
game to bed there.
All he had to do was just keep running and just step around the keeper. He didn't even need to shoot at that stage. He just, the jink was lovely and he was clean through. All he do was walk it in.
He's a young man, though. That's the only thing. He's a very young man.
Again, that was a kick out. That was duffed.
Yeah, and
Intercepted by, I think it was Paul Keegan.
Paul Keegan, yeah.
Pass and Shandonagh were wide open.
And again, Paul, look at this. It's all Tubberclair men around. There was actually 3 Tubberclair men to know Shandonagh man that time. Matty Whitaker now. Matthew takes it on to the left foot, not his better strike, and there's a reason why, and that's a 7th wide. 7 wides, Paul. You know, it is telling, you know, maybe not now, but come the last quarter of this game, if you're going to beat Shandonagh, you've got to put the foot on the neck, you've got to hold them down. If they get a sniff at anything here now and go up the field maybe and get a couple of scores, they're right back into this game where even at this stage, Tubberclair could almost be out of sight.
They could be, and the thing is, look, I mean, both are very good teams, and there will be opportunities.
That's a very good kick out that time. Keane Malloy has struggled with his kick out so far, but that was a superb one. Brendan Killian now. Killian looks up and sees that there is a man free. That's Luke Tynan into Malloy. Malloy, though, he's going into an absolute wall of green. He's fouled. Not quite sure where the foul was there, Pete. I'm not quite sure where the foul was there, I have to be honest. I'd like to see that one back again now. It's on the screen here in front of us. We can look at the replay, but it didn't look like a foul to me.
It was
no disrespect to Tom Malloy, but I'm struggling to see how that's regarded as a foul.
I'd feel hard done by now if I
chance, yeah. Chance for Danny Scahill now. Scahill into the corner.
But again, very isolated when they get the
nice
ball.
work by Scahill. He's gone through again, but doesn't come to him. It's shipped back off Keelan Malloy. Keelan Faulkner, and Keelan Faulkner makes a dummy twice, and Keelan Faulkner, but I'm afraid he's kicked that wide as well.
That's, yeah. I mean, he could have been caught for over carrying there, the truth be told, looking back.
I think he was just on the cusp of it, Paul. You know,
yeah.
Sometimes I think we're a little bit hasty and tell about lads over carrying, and you know, give the attacking player the chances, my opinion, and the benefit of the doubt, certainly.
You have to be executing like.
Oh, absolutely. That's a score given away.
Goals. You have to, like, particularly when you've only 1 point on the board after 20 minutes, you have to get those.
And we talked about Shandonagh short a number of players from the starting team today. One of those players is Kevin Boyle, and that's Kevin Boyle territory. Like, I mean, he would be really knocking those over with ease.
It's interesting, just the number of changes, 4 changes in the Shandonagh team, where they've been reasonably settled throughout the championship.
Absolutely,
sometimes
yeah.
They just do look that little bit uncohesive and uncoordinated with all those changes.
Whitaker now going through, met well by Conor McCrossan, but again, Whitaker gets the ball across. The Fred Keller is on his own. That's a beautifully designed score, Paul. Really, really well designed score. Whitaker had it first chance, was well shoved out by Conor McCrossan, but still has the presence of mind to look around and see that Fred Keller was in that little pocket of space. Again, though, we have to say it, it's not great marking by Shandonagh so far.
No, it's lovely. Matthew does his lovely turn back onto the end line and just pops it across to the runner coming through the middle, and it's working well for him.
Ball over to the far side. That's going to be sideline ball. 2 Tubberclair over the far side. They lead here by 7 points. 1-5. That's it. to a single point from Shandonagh. 21 minutes gone here of a half, Paul, that has been dominated by Tubberclair so far. Shandonagh really struggling in places, from the kickouts, from general play indeed as well. And we have to add into that fact as well that Tubberclair leading by 7, but they've also hit 7 atrocious wides as well, it must be said, and have had a second. They've got a goal, but they've had a second goal chance. This time it works Darren Beatto. He has a man free, Ryan Donnelly. Darren doesn't know what to give it to him. Ryan Donnelly looks up and sees that it's the full back. I'm afraid that's gone wide.
Again,
it just wrong man, wrong time, I think, Paul.
Well,
would that be fair enough to say?
I just say, look, you know, when you're coming through like that and the keeper's coming out, you actually have the space. If he just stepped the yard to the left,
absolutely, yeah. Very similar to the Tubberclair one up this end.
He could have just rolled it into the net. He didn't need to shoot so quickly, and you know, maybe normally playing full back you don't get those opportunities. You try and take them a little
but
bit
he
quicker.
has been playing in a very advanced position all day today. That's gone right over to the in front of us here in our position. Danny Scahill does well to get it. Scahill has gone in the attack. Conor McCrossan is off his left shoulder if he wants him, but eventually he looks for Ryan Donnelly. Ryan Donnelly looks up and sees Tom Malloy. Tom right on the edge of the D. But if ever I seen a more un-Tom Malloy strike, I think, Paul, that's it. That was as wide as a gate.
I was writing the score down.
So was I.
He just screwed off the outside of his boot, and it's
very un-Tom Malloy-esque.
Shandonagh are getting a bit more into the game though, and
they are.
They've in the attack.
They've put a few more passes together, but look at this straight away. Tubberclair take the ball back. Fred Keller is not going to make that one though. That's well intercepted and well done that time by Shandonagh. Nicely done by the Ben Traynor there. He got his hand in on that one. He watched it the whole way. Ryan Donnelly now. Shandonagh need a score. Nice ball in. Adam Traynor is fouled after the ball, and that's this time Andy Kenny is perfectly correct. No need for it, Paul, because Tubberclair had plenty of men back there, and it's going to be Ryan Donnelly now, I would suggest, is going to try and kick the first point.
I think there was an example there, like, you know, I mean, just Shandonagh have a bit more pace about their attack. They're finding their players better. They're finding little pockets of space and beginning to create chances. To be honest, the first 18 minutes, they really weren't creating any opportunities. The last 5 minutes, they've created maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah,
they just need.
Well, they've certainly looked a little bit brighter anyway. Yeah. Donnelly with a chance now to get their second score of the game. Actually, this will be the first score from a free, Paul. Every score we've had so far, we've had 7 scores in the game, have all been from play. That's a nice strike by. That's held. I don't know whether that held up in a breeze, Paul, or whether it was just a poor strike, but it held up considerably.
The breeze is kind of coming into his face
from Springfield almost, is it?
Yeah, but in saying that, like, it's 21 yards.
I mean, yeah.
Dropping the ball short 21 yards.
Absolutely, you're in trouble, and it's a chance missed. You know, you're going to need every score in these intermediate games. We've talked about this, Paul, time and again. If there's a championship in the country that's as tight and as unpredictable as the intermediate championship in Westmeath, I don't know what it is. That's good defended by Shandonagh this time, and they've done it very, very well on 2 occasions to try to get that ball away, and they got it away the second time. Danny Scahill now. Scahill looks up, sees there's a man free. That's McCrossan. If he looks to his left, Caelan Faulkner is coming like a train. McCrossan looks up, doesn't see a whole lot in front of him, tries to pop it, and going back for free. And that's a fairly lengthy advantage, shall we say, P?
Yeah, I'm looking back here to see when the actual foul took place.
A fairly lengthy advantage now.
Where that ball is free has been taken from, there was no contact with anyone, so I'm not sure.
I was just about to say the same thing. I think maybe Danny Scahill was fouled further back, all right?
Well, if he was fouled, it was maybe on the edge of
it was on the edge. It was on the edge of the arc, yeah. Look at, we're not as close to the ball as the referee is, so he's obviously spotted something. Absolutely, yeah. He doesn't have that, unfortunately. Hindsight is 2020. Brian Kavanagh ships the ball out. Is Darren Beatto going to make that one? He's going to do well to get there. That's well done by Darren Beatto. Has been a bit of a peripheral figure there. He's far easier to watch when he's going forward, Paul, in my opinion. And he hasn't really had the opportunity at all yet so far. Chance now. McCrossan ships it back across to Traynor. Traynor looks up and sees that Danny Scahill. Scahill has been urged to attack. Cahill goes past one, goes past McCabe, his inter-county partner. McCabe eventually gets the ball out, but he does it illegally, and it's going to be a free in for Shandonagh, halfway between the 45. A chance for a 2-pointer here as well, Paul, and I see a substitute for Tubberclair already.
Darragh O'Connor.
Darragh O'Connor, another minor from 2 years ago. Interesting to see who's coming off in his place, but Darragh O'Connor is definitely in. And is it Keelan Connell, I think, is coming off, Paul?
Tom Burke.
It's Tom Burke.
Substitution number 30, number 20, Darragh O'Connor, number 12, Tom Burke.
Tom is not too happy about it. He's gone straight down the tunnel, and to be quite honest with you, I can feel his frustration. I think he's been fairly
he's
good
missed
so
one
far.
or two opportunities, but he's been involved.
But he's been involved in a
really,
lot of
really
stuff. Yeah,
impactful,
and that's
you know, I'm to be honest, no,
it's a bit baffling. Now I know O'Connor is a really decent player. Donnelly kicks it, but I'm afraid that one is pulled across. And if we wanted to see the strength of the win, Paul, perhaps that was it. That really pulled across the goal.
It is coming across the face.
Yeah, and perhaps we're being a little bit disingenuous to Shandonagh here, because they look like they're playing into what is this very stiff breeze. They're trailing by 7, but you know, in the modern game, that can be turned over in a heartbeat, Paul.
It can, yeah. It's kind of coming out of that far corner.
And immediately on his introduction, there's the first ball for Darragh O'Connor. Ships it on. Delaney gives it on. And Darragh O'Connor has a bit of a swipe at it, and Brandon Killian can't make a go of it. It's 3 or 4 men around it. They're a Tubberclair man, and he still manages to get it out. Chance now. Paul Keegan. Paul Keegan strikes it, but Paul Keegan has kicked it wide, and I'm not sure that there wasn't a foul around that end line there. That's an 8 wide for Tubberclair, Paul. This could come back to haunt him.
Yeah, like that.
I'm sure Keith Higgins is that's going to be his halftime talk, you know. Keith and Danny Salmon, 2 men that are very familiar with intermediate football and indeed junior football in Westmeath. They have been around the block, shall we say, and a chance now for Scahill to Shandonagh. Can they get one more score before the half-time whistle? We've 29 minutes gone here. I'd say there's probably one more chance, but again, it's just the sheer weight of volume of players that are around the ball, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, like Shandonagh are popping passes into pockets where it's kind of 2-on-1.
Where you wouldn't put your head, never mind your hand.
Like when you've that volume of numbers around you, and particularly in the weather conditions, like the ball is so slippy out there at the moment.
Yeah, and it's actually getting worse now at the moment. I don't know, can our viewers see it, but it's absolutely thundering down here with rain now, and that rain is coming from the Springfield end of it, from the tunnel end of TG Cusick Park. Out it comes though. Tubberclair, it'll matter little to them. Tom Keller has gone out of the game a little bit, was very prominent in the early exchanges, has gone out of it quite a bit, and as is James Madden, but Tubberclair building again, and just as I say that, Madden gets his hands on the ball, but that's gone way astray, and there it goes. There's the half-time whistle in a very wet TEG Cusick Park here at the moment. Just played exactly the 30 minutes here in the Kenny, but it's Tubberclair that lead here on a scoreline of 1-5 to 1 point, and Paul, they're good value for it.
No, very good value for it. I mean, you know, played with real pace and real patience when they needed to. I mean, they'd be a bit disappointed with their accuracy with those 7 wides. You know, definitely 4 of them were, you know, scoreable and should have been converted. On the other hand, Shandonagh, I think they've got more of a platform for themselves in the last 10 minutes and really come back into it. You know, again, have had quite a few wides and balls dropping short. I think that will play in Shandonagh's favour in the second half is the weather conditions. That wind is really freshening and beginning to blow down in their favour.
And the rain is getting heavier as well.
So that might play to their advantage. But
is it a 7-point win, Paul?
Look, it depends who you're getting shooting.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Truth be told, you know, I mean,
Shandonagh have been poor so far in that top end of the field.
Yeah, like Tom Malloy is normally an accurate player. He's only had one real opportunity so far that he skewed off the outside of his boot, but he's capable. Ryan Donnelly is capable from distance as well. But you know, I think the challenge is 7 points. You probably want 1 or 2 pointers.
Yeah.
kind of give yourself a bit of a platform going into that second half, and I'm not sure whether Shandonagh have those type of shooters on the field.
Well, that'll
Which
be
is probably the answer is they'll come out and score 3 2-pointers in the first 5
guaranteed.
minutes.
Yeah, just
that back a bit,
just to make sure that we're absolutely couldn't be any more wrong. But for the moment, at least here in TEG Cusack Park, it's Tubberclair that lead on a 1-5 to a single point against Shandonagh here in the Slavin's Court, or in the Shay Murtagh Precast Intermediate Football Championship Round 5, the final round of the game. We are going to take a little break here on RVTV, but we'll be back with you for the second half. Do stay with us, and of course, don't forget, following this fixture tonight, we have the clash of the Downs and Mullingar Shamrocks in the Senior A Championship. So do stay with us on RVTV. We'll be back with you very, very shortly.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusack Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GA.
Cusack Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shamrocks Precast.
Welcome back, viewers, to AirV TV for the second half of this intermediate Shamrocks Intermediate Football Championship final round match between Shandonagh and Tubberclair. Shandonagh are back out onto the field, out good and early. I don't see any changes so far, P, anyway. It looks like they're going to continue on with what they had started with. Wind has kind of a little bit died down. The rain has seemingly passed over for the moment, at least, anyway. But there's a few black clouds coming over from Mullingar area there. Look, fairly hefty, but
it doesn't look promising. But
no.
At least the wind has died down.
Won't affect us in our position here.
No.
We're staying good and dry.
I'm delighted I'm up here today, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I'd rather be up here than out there, I suppose. Be interested to see, Paul, how Shandonagh cope now. The wind has died down a little bit, but it was a good bit stronger in the first half. They're going to need the opening scores here, and maybe a couple of the opening scores here in this second half, if they're going to have any chance in this game.
Yeah, I think, at least start with a platform with a bit of energy and a bit of penetration and be creating opportunities.
Which they haven't done so far.
Like they'd one score in 20 minutes in that half. Or one score in 30 minutes. Actually, I nearly assumed one or two of those threes went over, but that's you can't be doing that for over 30 minutes of football and expect to be competing, truth be told.
No, and look at the amount of changes that they made to their starting team this year. In my opinion, it hasn't worked so far anyway for them, whether they're injury related or anything like that. I know Aaron Craig got a bit of a belt here last week in the hurling championship match for St Oliver Plunkett, so I'm assuming that it is more injury based than anything else. But with results going the other way, it looks like Tubberclair at the moment are going to top this table here on the head-to-head if they win this game. Well, we're getting ready here for the second half. Referee Enda Kenny about to throw in the ball. Interested to note, Matthew Whitaker is almost playing as the midfielder here.
I think it's just for the throw-in.
Again, it's Tubberclair.
He seems to have a very free role in the first half. Something
that we didn't point out and has been, Tubberclair are a big, strong, physical side, very, very tall, most of them. Extremely tall players, and can play a bit of ball as well.
Yeah,
Shandonagh just that little bit slighter.
In the middle of the field, and they're kind of using
imposing. Is that the word I'm looking for? I think
that
imposing is the word I'm
but
looking
you've got kind of Sean Claffey, Owen McCabe, Fred Kelleher,
Gavin Delaney, who has gotten a mountain of balls so far
all
today.
kind of almost like a wall across that middle area, that middle third, and they're very imposing.
Whitaker now takes the ball on inside the 45, looks up and sees there's a man free. Again, it comes back out. Paul Keegan now. So patient, so methodical almost from and it's a kind of a hallmark of Keith Higgins' teams. Paul, I've watched him over the years, really decent coach, from Offaly, but he puts a huge amount of effort into ball retention, and that's well done by. Tries to get it through. It's Fred Kelleher. He's bearing down on goal. Fred Kelleher has a shot, and that's a really good save by Cian Malloy. And out of nothing, Paul, it looks like they'd actually lost the ball. Somehow the ball got back out to Fred Kelleher. I don't know who gave him the last pass, but that was another goal opportunity, the third opportunity that Tubberclair have had, and that really should have been in the back of the net, but for a beautiful save from Cian Malloy. And
two lovely bits of combination there. Paul Keegan was the player who ended up getting that loose ball and just popping it through to Fred, running through.
And Paul Keegan is coming into this game as well, Paul. We know him well from minor championships over the last couple of years. He's a really, really decent forward.
Very mobile, clever on the ball.
Composed, I think, is the one word that would strike me about Paul Keegan.
Gets on the ball.
And there he is. Look, just as I mentioned it, he gets on the ball again. Now when it comes to McCabe, McCabe looks up and sees a man in the corner, but it's all very tight over there on the terrace side of the pitch. Again, it comes from Keegan. Gavin Delaney now. Delaney. He's a long way out, though. Again, it's just pure penetration. That's the sub. That's Darragh O'Connor. O'Connor looks up and sees that there's a man free. Is he going to get to the ball? Tries his best to get to it. It might have been a little bit close to the grass that time, but it's Tubberclair come back on the attack again, and it's back across the goal. It's caught. It's a square ball, I think he gave it at the end, and probably was.
In the square was.
And probably was. It probably was a square ball. Darragh Conway and Shandonagh are a little bit fortunate to get away with that one. It's
he would
Adam Trainer now.
His fist to it.
He might have been better off to maybe have just a little strike on it. He didn't think he was going to get a strike to it, I'd say, because it wasn't the greatest ball. And Shandonagh back on the attack, but again, it's that resolute Tubberclair defence who have been extremely tight and close to the man here so far. And again, they're building again. It's the simple ball every time. In it goes to McGonigal. It's not. It's Paul Keegan again. What amount of ball he's got in the second half. Fred Kelleher now takes it on. Goes past Gordon. Kelleher bearing down a goal. Kelleher is tripped. Paul, that's a free. In any man's language, from Lapland to the Antarctic, that's a free.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing we've touched on it just a few minutes there earlier, like Paul Keegan's getting on an amount of ball and his use of it is so smart. Sometimes it's just a simple ball back to the player behind him. Sometimes it's a penetrating pass like that
it's
one to Fred
composed,
Keller.
Paul, yeah.
But it's creating opportunities all the time, and he's just available everywhere to pick up those loose balls, and generally he's doing something really sensible with it.
Interesting to see how this free, no effect on the wind, and that one free there.
And that wind is totally
That's
died
Finn
down.
Duffy.
The flags are very, very still.
First score of the second half goes to Tubberclair. They lead here 1-6 to a point. 4 minutes into the second half here, and if they dominated the early exchanges in the first half, Paul, they've done the exact same at the start of the second half. Shandonagh completely out of sorts here this afternoon, in my opinion. Ball into the centre again, waiting for it was Conor McCrossan. Looks like it was a high challenge there. It's going to go ahead. Shandonagh now back on the attack. Caelan Faulkner ships the tackle, does well to retain ball, gives it on to Malloy. Malloy now looks up and sees there's a man coming on the far side. Eventually comes back. Derek Conway gets it out over onto the far side of the field. Luke Tynan now with a chance to get another score, but I'm afraid Luke, that's what we call a moon river.
He just needed to take it on and either recycle it or move into a better
and therein lies the difference between the sides. Tubberclair are more composed. They're working that ball around. If the shooter is not in the right position, they're working around to get the shooter into the right position. Shandonagh have had a number of snapshots here that have just been totally ineffective, Paul.
Yeah, Brian Kavanagh's coming off now, and young McQuaid, Darren McQuaid's after coming on.
It's Cormac Gordon. Cormac Gordon has come off. Yes, Cormac Gordon is on. Darren McQuaid, of course, we know him well as well. Really, really good striking forward. Again, it's Tubberclair get the first of the ball, but it's Danny Scahill that's going to make it. Danny Scahill is fouled. Danny Scahill carries on. Why he wasn't allowed to carry on is beyond me, but it's going to be a booking, I think, for Gavin Delaney here. And that's of the very soft variety, I have to say. But Andy Kenny is indicating that that's not the first time he's fouled. So
I think he's given 2 yellow cards. I think both of them is somebody going in with the boot when a player is picking up the ball.
Yeah,
I think that was the one that was in the first half as well that we were wondering
again,
about.
Paul, we mentioned this at the start of the broadcast. Consistency. That's what players are looking for. If you're going to give a free for it at one end, you must give a free for it at the second end. Shandonagh gets it back to Matthew Scully. Kavanagh looks up, sees there is a man free this time. That's Ryan Donnelly. Donnelly turns on to the left foot. Is it going to curl in enough? It is. That's a lovely score from Ryan Donnelly. Measured that very, very well. Only the second score of the game. And if ever a score was badly needed, Paul, we're 6 minutes into the second half. A second score for Shandonagh, but they still trail by 7 points, 1-9-2. And again, Tubberclair immediately get the ball back down the field. On it goes, Matthew Whitaker now. He's picking up pace. Derek Conway is in attendance. Derek Conway tries to get him. Whitaker is still going. Whitaker, is he going to clip this one over the bar? It's dropped short, and we've seen it in the first half, Paul, and that just need to be struck through the ball, and that's a chance. Matthew Whitaker, if they're doing video analysis at the end of this game, Paul, you know, their scores that need to be going over for Tubberclair. They want to keep in the ascendancy. And look, straight away, Shandonagh back on the attack. Caelan Faulkner now. Faulkner. He's gone 30, 40 yards with the ball. He looks up, he sees there's a man free. Is it going to get him? It is. It's going to get the whole way over to the far side of the pitch. Chance now for Brian. Ryan Donnelly hits a high ball, but hits it into the smallest man on the pitch. Who's going to get to it again? It's Tubberclair. Sheer weight of numbers again, Paul. Is that to getting Tubberclair out of trouble here again?
It was just a snapshot that went up in the air from Ryan Donnelly.
Taylor Slevin does extremely well to get out of a very tight spot here. Looks up and sees that it's his centre half back that's coming through. That's Tom Kelleher. Holds up possession again. It's Tubberclair, so patient really just looking for the ball. And it's that man again, Keegan, a mountain of ball he's after getting on, particularly in this second half. Ball into the corner. Chance now. Goes through. Kelleher is through on goal again. Is he going to make it this time? And Kelleher gets through. And this time it is a goal. This time it is a goal, Paul. Tried their best to keep it out of the net. But just, you know, you give a team so many chances. And again, Paul, it came from a rather simple move forward.
He spun the
Great
full
work by
back
Keelan Connell that time.
and you know, then it was just wide open, and like it's poor defending, you know.
2-6, that's 12 points to Tubberclair, 2 points to Shandonagh, 10 points of a gap here. We're 8 minutes into the second half. And Paul, one of the teams that many people fancy for the Intermediate Championship, they're getting a small bit of a drubbing here today because they're just not at the pitch of their game at all.
No, very much so. Like, not tracking runners like Fred was through on his own, so that when Keelan Connell, just all he had to do was just pop the ball to his left. Like,
and it was clever from Keelan Connell. He let the ball go past him almost before he put his hand to it.
It was, but you know, an experienced full back like Ben now, I don't think he'd be very happy with himself if that happened to him. He should be standing off him in those situations and just let him turn into him rather than just be spun off.
Tubberclair back in the ascendancy, and for a moment there was only 2 men forward for Shandonagh. They got away with that one, I think, P. Foul on the shoulder, and again it's just simple things, simple things going wrong for Shandonagh here today. You know, they will be more than unhappy. Bray Sheridan, I'd say, is pulling his hair out on the sideline with the mistakes that Shandonagh made.
You know, Shandonagh, great momentum coming into this game, and like, you know, definitely won't be happy with this performance so far, and suddenly, okay, you know, hopefully you're still in the semi-final, but and you have 2 weeks to sort a lot of things out, but you have more problems than things to build on. You know, it really kind of brings their momentum to a juddering halt.
First score of the game from Owen McCabe there from a free. That extends the lead even further. 2-7 to 2 points to the Tubberclair man. Ball out over to the far side. Dara Conway was under severe pressure. Handles on the ball, on the ground, I think. And it's Matthew Whitaker, I think, is looking like he's had to get a bit of an injury there. Dara Conway is arguing his case here. I'm not quite sure what had happened there, Paul, but I thought Dara Conway
short
had
kick out, and there was...
Did Conway not get his hands to the ball that time before the tackle came in?
It wasn't really a tackle. It was... I'm not sure why it was a free, but...
It's a yellow card for Dara Conway.
Yeah, it was kind of like...
It's actually not Dara Conway got the yellow card. The ball had gone out to Dara Conway at that time, but I think the yellow card has been given for dissent. I think it might be Luke Tynan is actually after receiving the yellow card there, but
Matthew Whitaker went over on his ankle, and then the ball went out. But like, look, it's coming from the same problem we had in the first half for Shandonagh. Like, kickouts are just not functioning for them at all.
And there,
that one's
punished accordingly. Another free for Owen McCabe, and you know, if he was a little bit on the periphery of the game in the first half, Paul, he certainly come into his own in the second half. 2-8 to Tubberclair, 2 points to Shandonagh. And this game is drifting away. And again, the kick out does not go anywhere near a Shandonagh man. Paul Keegan now, can he get himself on the scoreboard? The back it comes to Kelleher. Kelleher is on his own in absolute acres of space. And that's poor defended by Shandonagh, Paul. We have to call that out. It's been very poor.
Is fundamental. Like, I mean, that went to a Tubberclair player standing on his own. There wasn't a Shandonagh player within 20 yards of him, and
yeah, that's
causing a lot of. Then you're trying to push out, and then your players going the opposite direction, and then there's pockets of space.
Mickey Boyle is in. Mickey Boyle is in for Shandonagh. Not quite sure who's gone off yet, but Mickey Boyle is definitely in. It's Luke Tynan that's gone. He's had to been booked. Luke Tynan is gone. Mickey Boyle is in. But at this stage, Paul, it's almost damage limitation at this stage. It should be nearly damage limitation for the Shandonagh men. They've been under enormous pressure from their own kickouts, from in their own defence, in attack, everywhere, and they just have not played up to their potential here today at all. And again, there's the epitome of a great work by Tubberclair, and their tackling, Paul, today has been outrageously good.
just their work rate and willingness to get back, and then
Paul
just ship
Keegan
on
gets it
very
back
simple.
over to Matthew Whitaker. Whitaker wearing the 33 jersey, looks up and sees this is a man free, gets it back. Whitaker now spins, does a bit of a pirouette almost, and that's a beautiful score from Matthew Whitaker, his first of the game. And Paul, at this stage, this is just scored in practice for Tubberclair. 2-10, that's 16-2. 14 points of a difference here between two teams. We would have expected to be challenging for the intermediate title this year, but at this stage, in this game anyway, there's only one team on the field that look like they're going to win this one.
Absolutely, and Tubberclair just looked slick and very fluid in their movement and passing, and
Chance
really
now for
impressive.
Shandonagh. It's a silly foul given away at that time. Conor McCrossan looks up and sees Malloy, but again, Paul, it's very static, it's very one-dimensional, it's over and back across the field without very little imitation. Mickey Boyle gets it now. Can Mickey make a bit of a difference here? Gets it into Scahill. Scahill is surrounded again by Tubberclair. Look at the amount of Tubberclair, but Mickey Boyle does extremely well to get out, extricate himself from that one. Kicks it off the right foot, looks like it's going to drop short, but who's it going to drop to? It's Steve McGonigal gets his hands on the ball, and Steve McGonigal looks like he's going to come out with it. Takes a lot of steps with it, but eventually it's guarded, he's fouled, and it's going to be a free out for Tubberclair. And if we wanted an epitome of what has gone wrong for Shandonagh so far, Paul, there was an absolute epitome of it. Just moving the ball too slow.
And you're struggling to see the pattern of how they're trying to play, to be honest with you. It's
Very hard to see any sort of a game plan with Shandonagh at the moment. We don't mean to be overcritical of teams, but look at it, I suppose it's a meaningless fixture for them insofar as that they've already qualified for semi-final. But there's no doubt about it, Ray Sheridan certainly would wanted a little bit more from his players today, and it's been all Tubberclair. It's been a masterclass indeed from the men from the south. Of course, we have to remember Tubberclair were intermediate finalists here 2 years ago and 3 years ago, Paul, and probably a little bit unfortunate not to go up to the senior level at that stage. And they're building as well, because their underage structures, of course, as we well know, are extremely well founded. Whitaker now takes it on, takes a pass Faulkner. He's surely fouled that time, and it is, and again.
very clever play from Matthew there. Slowed it down, could see nothing on, just take the man on and draw the foul.
Yeah. Aaron Craig is into the play now, which would suggest, why didn't he start?
Yeah, I know there's 15 minutes to go and you don't want to throw in the towel, but if you didn't start him, I would imagine it might have been because he had a niggle or a knock and you were trying to save him or hope to save him.
It's a yellow card.
But,
a yellow card for Caleb Faulkner there that time for a high challenge. And that's his. Is that his last? No, it's not. It's Dara Conway that's coming off. Again, Paul, we talked about the strange substitution for Tubberclair in the first half. That's equally as strange to me. I thought he was having a fairly decent game, but no standing on ceremony would end the Sheridan.
it's great.
It's a lovely strike. Is it going to pull too far? It is, but it's kept in play. No, it's not. It's gone out, and amazingly, that's the first wide of the second half for Tubberclair. They had 8 of them in the first half. That's the first wide of the second half. They have been so economical to have used the ball so well here.
Yeah, much more efficient, and all their shots are coming from inside even the small D, that sort of area, where you have a real good chance of scoring.
Darren Bitter now. Again, doesn't see a whole lot in front of him, only a wall of green players. Shandonagh really need to get their skates on. Show some sort of bit of fight. Something to get you going for the next day. Ball has gone in, a chance now. It's gone into the corner though. Ryan Donnelly. Donnelly has a chance here, has he? Yes, he has. Ryan Donnelly, I think, a really good move. One of the few moves that they've had during the game, Paul, but that was extremely well. And that's what they can do. They can do that. They can move that ball quickly. They can shift the ball into scoring positions, and they have shooters that can knock it over the bar. And that's what's probably more disappointing today for the Shandonagh people. They haven't moved the ball enough today, in my opinion.
And I think the fact they got the kick out off and then were able to transition the ball into space really helped them there.
Again, the ball breaks loose, and it's Tubberclair look to have a man over here. There's a man over on the far side. If anybody spots him, Paul Keegan. Did he spot him? No, he doesn't. It comes eventually back to Matthew Whitaker. He has been in control of this game from the outset. Whitaker looks up and sees there's a man free.
Comes to him eventually.
Eventually comes over to the far side. Is this going to be another score? Yes, it is. I think that's the wing half back. Can't see the number.
He ended up getting it. Eventually, he was screaming for James Madden for
James
about 5
Madden,
minutes.
and
eventually they got it to him.
it just goes to show you, in transition, Tubberclair moved the ball so well. There was an attack that Shandonagh had. It was just broken down the field. 4 passes later, it's into a scoring player. Probably not one of their named forward, I suppose. Jim Madden named a wing half back, but they're just able to transition that ball and get it onto the field.
It's just they're not taking the ball into contact. It's just moving it on really, really quickly to the next.
And getting it to the shooter, getting it to the man in the right position, Paul, I suppose.
And just see like where he ended up taking the shot was just inside that small D, and you're always going to score in those positions.
Ball down to the centre. Gavin Delaney has won a mountain of ball in that centre of the field today. Named at 15, but hasn't played, I don't think, 5 minutes in that corner position. It's been so easy for the green and golds today. And again, this is straight through the centre. Chance here now. No, that's just gone astray. Rather poor wide that time. Sean Claffey looked to have been through there, and just when you think it couldn't get any worse, who's coming on? Oisin O'Mara, one of their top scorers over the last couple of years. And Tyke Moody, another player that has come back from a couple of years abroad, but Oisin O'Mara is on anyway. Tyke Moody is on.
Delaney's off, super game.
He has been excellent, Paul.
Paul Keegan as well.
Paul Keegan. And perhaps maybe protecting them even at this stage, Paul, is that?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, I mean, they've both been probably the 2 most impactful players for Tubberclair, and no disrespect to the rest of the boys, but keeping them fresh and avoiding injury, just given the way the scoreboard is, you have the luxury to do that.
Yeah, and Tyke Moody is a player that I had the privilege of working with at underage level in Westmeath. He was a really good underage talent, has been plagued by injury over the last number of years, and indeed was abroad, I think, as far as well. He's a really, really decent footballer, but Oisin O'Mara to be coming into it as well. I mean, he's just a fantastic forward, and you know, just when you think it couldn't get any worse for you, you're bringing on 2 players that have something to prove as well.
Yeah.
Keith Higgins and Danny Salmon, you know.
Yeah, definitely, and you know whether they were carrying injuries coming into it or were just rested. Now you're getting 10 minutes into them, and
but that's gone left and wide. And, Fred Keller couldn't keep that in play.
I was going to say, I think that was Oisin O'Mara. Would have been a class introduction, left foot from the left side. Lovely.
It would have been some introduction, all right.
Almost, yeah.
Ball gone way out over the sideline. And Paul, we mentioned in the first half, from the kick out is where Shandonagh are struggling, and struggling greatly.
They need to do a serious amount of work on that in the next 2 weeks. Like, they just haven't given themselves any platform.
Ball goes back into Keller. Keller so composed, and a chance now. Another chance, but this one is dragged wide. And I suppose if anything for Keith Higgins, that's dragged poorly wide there by Finn Duffy. If anything for Keith Higgins, there is one thing to work on.
Yeah, they've probably left about 8 or 9 simple enough scores between the first half.
Substitutes
and
coming thick and fast here. 23 is on for Shandonagh. That's Jay Costello. He's replacing Conor McCrossan, and on the Tubberclair team, I think it's number 24 is in. That's Kyle Fagan. Brother Stephen. He's replacing centre half back, isn't it? The centre half back that's gone. Tom Kelleher, yeah. You know, and we mentioned it earlier on that they're probably keeping lads fresh, and you know, Tubberclair have so many lads fighting for positions, which is the ideal way you want to be going in, particularly into knockout football, which is what it is at this stage, Paul.
Yeah, for sure.
Ball into the centre. Shandonagh now, can they make a bit of a fight? Mickey Boyle pulls it across the goals, hits the bar, and again, they just have had no luck here whatsoever this morning or this afternoon, and That's been epitomised here. Chance now. Tubberclair on the break. There is a man free. Steve McGonigal. He's man behind him. Steve McGonigal is shoved into the back. And I think this could be a throw-out ball. McGonigal reacted poorly to that one now. I know he was caught, Paul, but you still can't do it. It's Danny Scahill, and Danny Scahill, that was more of a frustration from Danny Scahill, I think, than anything else. But Scahill looks like he's going to get a yellow card here. It was a hefty challenge in the back, Paul. We look at it here on the replay.
He just ran straight through him, and look, that happens when the game has gone the way it is. You just lunge into things you shouldn't. But McGonigal's played really well from a defensive point of view. He's probably been the standout defender on the field. He's won one-on-one battles. He's mopped up loose ball. He's used it very productively.
He's such an intelligent defender, Paul. He's not the biggest man in the Tubberclair team. You look out at the Tubberclair team; they're all big, strong, well-conditioned players. But McGonigal is kind of on the smaller side of it. He's as hard as absolute nails, and he will give you 100% in every game. In my opinion, was the player of the match here in the final 2 years ago, and was slightly unfortunate not to get the nod, but eventually comes back. Kelleher gets it back from Mushin O'Mara, goes on to his left foot. Probably not his better foot. Is it going to come back?
The wind brought it in. I was about to say I don't think left foot is his thing.
No, it's a bit of a wand, all right. It was a bit of a wand. That was inside the area. That's going to be another mistake from Shandonagh, and it's just silly mistakes that are causing them serious trouble here. Another substitution coming in. Tubberclair clearing the bench completely. This time it's Paul Garvey, and Paul Garvey, I suppose, one of the stars of their team over the last number of years. Amazing to see. He's coming onto the field. He's replacing Finn Duffy. It's experience for youth, I suppose, here at the moment, but Keith Higgins is in an enviable position that he can do that now. 2-12, that's 18 points, 3 points to Shandonagh, 15 points of difference of a game we thought was going to be a little bit tighter than this, Paul, and a competitive game. It has been anything but.
You would have thought, and I mean, you would have looked at it at the start and kind of 4 changes in the Shandonagh team. You might have thought maybe some players were being rested.
Owen McCabe strikes over his third free.
Who came in, you're going, they're still pretty strong. So, it's Shandonagh. They'll be struggling to find some little chinks of light. They'll have plenty to work on for the next 2 weeks.
That's the only thing, Paul. They have 2 weeks to work on it. Aaron Craig is fouled. Craig goes on the attack. Shandonagh are looking more to take the main look off the scoreboard, I suppose, at the moment. That's the first 2-pointer attempt, but if you want a dichotomy of what's gone wrong for Shandonagh, there's another one of it. They've actually only hit 2 wides in the second half.
Like, even in the first half and the second half.
No composure, Paul.
Yeah, they're taking on shots really that were 40, 60s.
At least 40, 60. I think you're being generous, actually, with the 40, 60.
And then the ones that they did get in good positions, they just didn't convert them. The ball went up in the air, the ball dropped short, the ball went wide, and, they haven't even...
Ball into the centre, up goes Moody. Looking for his first catch of the game. Moody can't make it the first time. It's still retained. This time it's by Taylor Slevin. He's had a tremendous game for Tubberclair. Eventually it works its way out, and when your ass is in foul, you take it. I mean, that was a ball that probably should have been and could have been cleared by Shandonagh, but it's just those dirty balls, the 50-50 balls. They're losing all those contact balls, and sometimes you just get a day like that, Paul.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the conditions
certainly not
helping. If you're getting the ball anywhere near contact, it's very hard to retain possession. You need to be shipping it off really, really quickly.
Tubberclair are not going for the jugular. They already are plenty in the lead. They're just looking to keep the ball in retention. Just as I say that, they kick it away. Oh, that's right. Almost get into it again. Is it dispossessed? Yes, it is. And Shandonagh failed to take the ball out of contact again. It's back forward again. Is this another score? Yes, it is. Keelan Connell, that's his first score in the game. And
again, it's just a turnover, winning the ball, taking it into
so
contact.
Simple, Paul, and
poor execution of a pass. Like, really, that wasn't on, and
so out of sorts. I've rarely seen Shandonagh so out of sorts. Certainly this year, they have been exceptional in most of their games that I've seen so far this season. They have been excellent, but today just everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for them. And up I go again, and there's a foul again, and Sean Claffey. This could be This could be another yellow card. It's Aaron Craig, is it? No, it's Caelan Faulkner. And Caelan Faulkner's already booked, Paul. If he gets booked for this one, it's a red.
It was a pull down. Or a trip. Sean Claffey got
no
the ball,
question,
and as he was going by him, he reached out his hand.
He can't really argue with it. He
tripped him up.
Whether by design or fault, it makes no odds. But Andy Kenny, I think, has been a little bit lenient there.
I think he took the notebook out and saw that he was on the yellow and went, there's 2 minutes
and at this
to go.
stage,
Does it really matter?
Does it really matter? Substitute on, another substitute on. That's Jack O'Brien is on for Shandonagh. Haven't seen who's come off for them yet, but as Jack O'Brien has gone on, there's no one has gone off the field yet. Still playing with 16 players, Paul, as far as I can see. I haven't seen anyone gone off the field, have you?
No, not yet. I'm kind of looking around, but
Whittaker now looks up and sees that there's a man free, gets it back. Whittaker, oh, he tried to fly hack it Wayne Rooney style almost there that time, but
Matthew
it's cleared,
gave
but it's
back the
cleared to
ball
nobody.
to hand, and to be honest, if he gave it to him lower, he would have been able to make really good contact with it first time, and it would have been the right thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't see who the substitute was that time, Paul, I have to be honest, but definitely the number. Jack O'Brien is
Adam
on.
Traynor. He's walking down the side.
Adam Traynor, I see him coming along the sideline. And look at, if it's any solace to Ray Sheridan and the Shandonagh faithful, maybe it's better to have a bad day today than going on in the championship. But again, there's a goal chance. It's not going over the bar. Tara O'Connor this time. Have your bad day now. Don't have it in the quarter-final or a semi-final, because this is a black day, a very bad day for Shandonagh. 2-15 to Tubberclair. That's 21 points. 3 points to Shandonagh. That's 18 points. We're into the last minute of normal time, and I would suggest there's not going to be a whole lot more added to this. And I would say from both sides, they wouldn't wish to have too much more added to it either. But there we go. Oisin O'Mara came on as a sub, and Oisin O'Mara, just simple as you like. An additional 3 minutes, and at this stage it's just purely for scoring practice for Tubberclair at the moment. They have been exceptional here so far against a very, very out of sorts Shandonagh, Paul. We have to say that. Tubberclair have been excellent, but Shandonagh have been very poor.
They're just fundamentals in terms of kickouts. We see it there. Structure in terms of.
And look at this straight away. Oisin O'Mara is clean through again. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of Shandonagh players. Of course, at this stage, the fight has virtually gone out, and Whittaker gets in front of goal. Whittaker strikes it off the right foot, and Matthew Whittaker. It's not actually Matthew Whittaker, it's Paul Garvey.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
The benefit for Shandonagh is they've learned a lot about where their deficiencies are today, and they've got 2 weeks to.
But also on the other,
do the analysis and
absolutely, but on the other hand, Paul, Tubberclair have learned today that they're serious championship. If they didn't know beforehand, they're serious contenders for the intermediate for the Peter Garrity Cup this season. That is a demolition.
For sure, it's a big confidence builder. I'd say on the other side, you haven't.
And the fact that they were able to use their squad as well.
You haven't been tested.
No, they haven't been tested. That's very true.
And so you really haven't learned anything in that respect. Because you've been allowed play.
There's a lovely ball for Tom Malloy. We're going to have a very late score here from Shandonagh. Ships it back on, and it's a goal. It's a goal. Mickey Boyle soccers it into the side of the net, and
well, it was
even at this stage, Paul, there was barely a round of applause for it.
I have to say,
Tubberclair are disgusted with themselves. They're leading here by a cricket score by 24 points, and they're still annoyed.
That was a dubious pass across the square by Darren McQuaid.
I was a little bit sceptical to say that. I thought it was a little bit dubious as well. But look, it's the first thing that has gone right, I suppose, for Shandonagh this afternoon. It's late in the game, but at least they're showing a bit of heart, a bit of fight coming up to the end of this game. That's something I suppose that they will work on as well. And I suppose to try and get the players that were missing today, try and get them back fully fit as well. they have a semi-final to look forward to. Who it's going to be against, it's all a little bit up in the air at the moment. We'll have the quarter-finals, of course, are here next weekend. They'll be live on RVTV. Quarter-finals of the intermediate and the senior football championship. It's only a week's break, Paul, and going into it after defeat like this will surely not be a help. Danny Scal kicks it way over the far side, and I'm afraid, like many that have gone so far, that's a third wide in the second half for Shandonagh. And it's 2-17. That's 23 points to 1-3. That's 6.
How many wides at Tubberclair?
Tubberclair have, according to me, they have 8 in the first half and 4 in the second. So that's 12, and that's it. That's the last action of the game. It was a bit of a damn squib, I suppose, Paul, as it turned out, but that will matter little to the Tubberclair men, because they have been excellent here today, and they win here with a unflattering, let's call a spade, an unflattering win here. They've won at their ease, if the truth be known. 17 points of a win, Paul. That's surely not the way you want to go in. For Tubberclair, it's the perfect way to be going into a knockout game, but certainly for Tubberclair, it's certainly not the way they would, or for Shandonagh, it's certainly not the way they would have wanted to finish off their league campaign here.
Certainly a bit of soul searching and a lot of things to identify and fix over the next week, 2 weeks for Shandonagh. Tubberclair, on the other hand, they'll get a huge boost of confidence out of that and really lay down a marker. On the other hand, they haven't really learned a lot because they weren't really tested in that game.
No, but it was the manner in which they won it, Paul.
Their efficiency, their structure, their fluidity was excellent. I really liked the kind of balance they had.
Patience and composure is what struck me. Yeah,
patience. It was really, really good. So no, they looked. They'll definitely put down a marker now for the rest of the teams in terms of this intermediate championship with that performance.
Yeah, and the players they've introduced have given Keith Higgins and Danny Salmon an even bigger headache. Like, what 15 do I pick for the next day? He has a plethora of choices, you know, and that's the way to be going into, particularly into knockout games. If plan A is not working, we can go to plan B, and they do have a plan B, you know,
yeah,
and we've seen that today.
As the weather kind of closes in as well, they're a big, fine, athletic, strong team, and you know the heavier pitches
extremely well conditioned
will suit them to a degree, and they have that platform with the 3 big men across the middle, and Matthew Whitaker coming out into the middle as well. Really hard.
I'm not even convinced that Whitaker is at full pelt yet. I think there's a little bit more to come from Matthew Whitaker, which is kind of frightening if you're looking at it from an opposition point of view. I think there's even more to come from him, and I think there's even more to come from quite a number of those players. Paul Keegan, we seen him in the second half. He was outstanding. From Owen McCabe at the centre of the field, where they dominated. At the back, I have to mention Stephen McGonigal and Taylor Slevin. They were outstanding. Slevin got the first score of the game. But all through the pitch, from 1 to 15, and even from the subs they brought on, there's not one Tubberclair player you say didn't make a contribution or it didn't have some effect on the game.
And even though they took Tom Burke off before half time, which was surprising, like his contribution in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I thought was really impressive as well. So, you know, they've a lot to take out of that in terms of, you know, both confidence and style of play. And kind of belief in what they're doing.
I think you've mentioned the biggest word. The biggest word, I think, is belief. If they don't take belief out of that they're good enough to go ahead and win this championship after that performance. Now, we must temper that with the fact that Shandonagh were very, very poor today and very disappointing.
Yeah, and
we take no pleasure. I don't take any pleasure in that. You know, you want to see competitive games, and you know they have been outstanding so far in the championship this year. But today, they just didn't turn up, Paul.
Yeah, coming in today now, I was really looking forward to the game. I really thought it'd be a ding-dong affair and it'd be really tight and competitive. But, you know, Shandonagh just looked very uncoordinated, didn't look cohesive in terms of how they were doing it. They struggled big time on their kick-outs, so they had no platform in terms of getting into the game and setting themselves up. And, you know, really then, you know, they were really struggling create opportunities as well. So
it's like the old Tesco ads, or the old Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil ad. You know, a lot of work done, more to do, I suppose. That's going to be the case.
Ray will be sitting down and looking at that game tonight now, and he'll certainly have a long number of pages of work-ons identified by the end of this evening that they'll be hitting the training pitch early next week to work on for sure.
Well, that's it here. So from the first game here in TG Cusick Park, the Shay Precast Intermediate Football Championship, the final round is Tubberclair go straight to a semi-final, as do Shandonagh actually after that result today. They will go straight to a semi-final. They will now have a week off, both teams, but it's Tubberclair who win the day here on a comprehensive win, 2-17 to Tubberclair, 1-3 to Shandonagh. From Paul Ahern and myself, it's good afternoon. Do stay with us on TV. We have the Senior Championship match, Section A clash between the Downs and Mullingar Shamrocks coming up. So do stay with us for that last game. For the moment at least, it's goodbye from TEG Cusick Park.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Precast.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Murtagh Precast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. At this stage it is, and welcome to TG Cusick Park for this Shay Murtagh Precast Senior Football Championship Round 5 game between the Downs and Mullingar Shamrocks. If you're with us for the opening game, we hope you have time to shake off the lethargy and go and get a cup of tea and be awake, and hopefully we'll see a bit better game this time. I'm joined in co-commentary for this game by James Dolan. James, you're very welcome. You're looking forward to your game tomorrow. Again, you don't know yet who you're going to be playing in a quarter final, but I suppose at the start of the year you'd have taken being in this position.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up from intermediate last year, first of all we were trying to keep ourselves safe, and then as the championship rolls on, you win a couple of games, you're looking at the quarter final stages. So we're there now with a round to go, which is excellent. We're very, very happy about that. And I suppose the reality of Group A is we can play anyone from second to 6th at the moment, and I'm sure that'll be straightened out as the evening goes on, but really looking forward to a good game here now in Cusick Park between the Downs and Shamrocks.
The Downs, let's be honest, have looked very, very impressive in their opening 4 games, and we were talking before we came on air, their strength and depth is the big factor for me. Even looking at them today, some of the players are on the bench are players that have been starting: Tom Chew, Conor Coughlin, Liam Faulkner, Andy Kilmartin, Niall Mitchell. There's a lot of strength and depth there.
Yeah, so many options, and I remember we played them in the league months ago now at this stage, and it was the one round of games where the county players were allowed to play, and they ended up playing against us, and they really taught us the lesson that day in speed and power and movement, and everything that's good about the Downs and what we've seen so far in the championship. But I think you hit the nail on the head there. The real strength is the strength and depth that they have. All those players that you've mentioned, all the county experience that has been amassed by all those players that have been in with the county, whether it was football or hurling and all that sort of stuff. So a really good squad, and they're doing everything right at this moment in time.
Yeah, and on the other side with Mullingar and Shamrocks, and Shamrocks probably pulled off the result of the championship in the last round of the game. Local derby beating St. Lawrence by, and there was only a point in it in the end, but I think the overall consensus was that Mullingar were well worthy of the victory.
Yeah, and a result that didn't really surprise me either. In those local derbies, it doesn't really matter. Form kind of goes out the window when you're playing your near neighbour, and I think that game kind of proved to be that kind of way. It could have went either way the whole way through, and Shamrocks just nicked it the last play of the game, I believe, with a hand pass over the bar to get the winning point. So coming good at the right time, and all getting ready for this big game against the Downs to, I suppose, ensure their way through to a quarter final or semi final.
Yeah, I think I think James, we'd want to be mathematicians, I think, to work out the permutation that's going to be, but a lot depends. I think a lot of eyes will be on the game in Shandonagh this evening between Tubberclair and St. Lawrence. That's going to be it's one huge important game, and the other game in the group then Athlone and Coruscant Kinnegad. So there can be so many changes, and there is going to be so many twists and turns before we know who's going to finish 1 to 4 in this group and who's going to get relegated.
Yeah, well, I suppose those other 2 games, like if between Lomans and Tubberclair, whoever loses that, I think
he's relegated.
He's definitely out.
Yeah.
And I think probably the same with Athlone and Kinnegad as well. Whoever loses that, they'll remain. They're bottom two at the moment. They'll remain. Whoever loses will remain in the bottom two. So I suppose those are the only two things that we know for sure of. But I think all those results, whatever's going, whoever's winning at half time, they'll be moving around in that table as the evening goes on, especially with score difference and all the rest.
It is, and even with conditions today, it's wet. There is a breeze now. Here in Mullingar is kind of coming across the field, so it's not really going to have big impact, but we don't know what way it's going to be in the other two venues. So we could have a high score in half time. They could still switch in the second half. But looking for our viewers at home, the first thing we're going to do now is give out our two lineouts, and we're going to start first of all with the Downs lineout, and they line out with their goalkeeper Trevor Martin. The full back line of Éanna Burke at 2, Charlie Drum at 3 and Peter Murray at 4. The half-back line has Oisin Murphy at 5, Kieran Nolan at 6 and Joe Moran at 7. Middle of the field today for the Downs, Johnny Lynham wearing 8 and he's part of a Billy Offfield wearing 9. In the half-hour line, Kevin Sullivan's at 10, Ian Martin, the centre half-hour, wears 11 and Larkin Mullen at 12. And the inside line today, Luke Loughlin at 13, Dean Egerton at 14 and completing the Downs line of number 15, Philip Martin. There are, I think, 3 or 4 changes on the Mullingar Shamrocks team, but we'll get to them anyway. But they line out, their goalkeeper is Ross Caroon. The full back line, Adam Glynn at 2, Dylan Matthews at 3 and Mark Evers at 4. In the half back line, Brendan O'Reilly is at 5, Davy Gavin is at 6 and number 18 John O'Reilly comes in the half back line. Centre of the field today, Dara Daly, he'll wear 8 and he's partnered by number 21 Donegal Maguire. In the half hour line, Brian Gearns at 10, Paddy Fagan 11 and Shane Ormsby coming in wearing number 17. And then the full forward line, Ryan Kelly at 13, Dennis Caroon at 14 and Dean Moore completing the Shamrocks line wearing number 15. Our referee for today's game, Niall Ward, a club mate of James from Gary Castle. Now James, I've called out that team there, but I would imagine it won't exactly line out. I think the last day Shane Ormsby was in the middle of the field, Donald Maguire was a wing forward, John O'Reilly may or may not go into that half back line. I'm sure there will be changes now, we'll get to them positional wise, but so much on the line again for Mullingar here, because Mullingar got promoted last year.
Yeah, last year they topped the group.
And a little bit like what you said, their first aim would be to consolidate themselves, and if they can make a quarter final, it'd be a great boost to them. And the team, on the form against Lomans, if they can replicate that form again, it'll be difficult for anyone to play in a quarter final.
Yeah, well, I always found playing against Mullingar Shamrocks, should have said, they're such a big team. Like, they're physically big men all over that field, and when they impose that strength and physicality all around the field, they're a really hard team to get on top of. Now they're probably going to meet their match in the Downs, who have shown that strength all year, but I'm always really impressed by Shamrocks. When they get going and when they get motoring, they're a very hard team to stop, and that was obviously the case last week. That nip and tuck game against Lomans, I would imagine would have been everybody's favourite to win that game, but Shamrocks tore up that script and just pipped them in the end. So I'd be interested in seeing what type of Shamrocks shows up today.
Yeah, I'm just down there looking out at their goalkeeper, and I have to mention Ross Caroon. Ross is clipping one over here from just the edge of the old D, but he scored 7 points last week, James. A huge score from your goalkeeper, and it just it shows the importance of any team that has a kicker that can kick a free from outside the 40-metre arc.
Yeah, and we played Shamrocks in the league as well, and Ross did the exact same thing against us. I remember it was a beautiful sunny day, real calm weather, no wind or anything like that, and he must have scored 5 or 6 points that day between frees and 2-pointers, 45s, whatever you call it. But he's obviously doing that all throughout the championship, and like you said, when you have a kicker like that and you win a free or you win a 45, it's nearly a guaranteed score. You can chalk it down, so that's a really good weapon to have.
Coming back then on the downside, we've mentioned him, probably been one of the players, if not the player of the championship far. Had a great year with Westmeath in the early stages of the year as well, Luke Loughlin.
Yeah, absolutely superb player, and really seems to stepped up his game really, I suppose, this whole year. We always knew the calibre of footballer Luke was. We knew the talent that he possessed, and it was always putting that together, consecutively in games. But as you said, he's been doing it all year, Westmeath. Like, he was probably one of the best players in the whole country, with this new game, with the three up top, suited him perfectly, 2 pointers, and he shows the whole array of his skills this whole year. And he just, like I said, that game that we played them in the league, Luke was outstanding that game in the league against us. I think he scored 1-7 or something like that. He was absolutely unplayable. So whoever has this job marking him is going to have a tough job, but one that they'll relish as well.
Yeah, I think it looked like Luke is, as we look out for the throw-in, it looks like Luke has gone into the full forward position, so it looks like it is Dylan Matthews is going to have the task of marking Luke. I see Donovan Guire has gone to the middle of the field. Dara Daly is there, so Dara is out for the throw-in. Johnny Lynham, again, another player is good to see back playing at a good high standard. He was a big loss to Westmeath this year as well.
Yeah, he had a couple of injury problems when he came back from travelling, but I think he played the last day as well, so they're obviously getting game time into him at the right time, so he'll be a big plus to the Downs.
Yeah, we're up and running anyway, and it is the Shamrocks men that have the first attack, and Shane Ormsby, ball given in, or Dara Daly has ghosted through. Oh, Dara got a pint out, but it's hard to see how a man is about 6'5" can just go through the fence, but he ended up getting in there. Probably should have ripped the net with it.
Yeah, he snuck in there straight through the middle. 1-on-1 with the goalie. The chance probably came too early for him. Do you know what I mean? We're only about 20 seconds into the game. He got the foot to it. Unfortunately, went over the bar, but what a great opportunity to start off with a goal there. That would have been.
It would have been exactly what the Shamrocks men needed, but they have the point. We're up and running. Trevor Martin has launched the first kick out where it's been picked up on the break there by Brendan Riley. Brendan just holds that possession, almost caught there, and lucky enough for him, had a bit of support there from Mark Evers, and Shamrocks managed to hold that possession. And Brian Gear now a chance to carry that ball forward. Another player, James, came into joined the Shamrocks men last year, and he's been a big asset to them. Played very well here in the last game as well.
Yeah, and another fella who missed a lot of football through injury as well. And we could have done with him who has been there for a while, but again, he played the last game. He's coming good at the right time, and to get those lads who have been injured in the first couple of games and get them back for the latter stages is always a big plus.
Yeah, Shamrocks are on the move again here now, and Paddy Fagan out in front of his man here now is going to try the shot in. Oh, just drifted. No, we're waiting for a signal.
Looked white to me.
We'll eventually do get the signal. But
unlucky there.
Nice play from Paddy Fagan there. Paddy's been on a good bit of form. He's in the corner today. Dean Moore in the other corner as well. Dennis Groon then normally fills the full forward position, but it looks like Paddy is in the full forward. And Dennis out at centre half forward trying to organise his team. Signal comes for Trevor Martin to launch the kick out. Fires it down this side. Dara Daly knocks it to the ground, but the referee said he was pushed there as he was going for the ball. Foul committed there by Billy Moffat. Free from Mullingar Shamrocks that they've already taken. Donovan Guire, one of these young players that have come forward. We've seen him for the last couple of years involved in minor finals beside himself. Shane Ormsby, Ryan Kelly. So Mullingar's youth system starting to bear fruit, and these young lads coming in, they don't look one bit out of place here. Donovan Maguire, nice fisted ball on to Adam Glenn. Adam, another young player as well, gives it back to Maguire. Maguire just holds the possession, works it back with ever experienced Dara Daly, pops it into even more experienced Dennis Croon. Nice play through the hands, Paddy Fagan trying to get away to get a shot in, doesn't get the spaces, or they just recycle it again. John O'Reilly cross now to Davy Gavin. He's the centre half back. He's up on the Downs 45. He's inside the 45. Has a teammate over in support on that far side. That's Brian Gear. Brian Kelly involved over on that far side, and Shamrocks decide just to come back across the centre. Donovan Wire is available this side if they need him, and instead they just carry it forward there with John O'Reilly. Davy Gavin again getting involved. Dean Moore, he's out a long way from the goals, but just trying to probe there and create an opening for Shamrocks. 3.5 minutes in that Dara Daly point. He only scored a game so far, and eventually Shamrocks do get across here now where Ryan Kelly has come out of the corner, out here halfway between 45 and 65, pops it on. He continues his run as Davy Gavin ships it on now, and an injection of pace here now for Kelly, and then eventually work it back here, and the shot comes in. James, nice patient play there from Shamrocks. They probed, they went left, they went right, and eventually got the man on to get the shot over the bar.
Yeah, really good score. I was actually just watching the downs and seeing how they were defending. They were man on man everywhere, and they were trying to get a little bit of a tuck in from the weak side, the wing back on the weak side. But as you said, Shamrocks really, really patient, went left and right, found the gap, and then got the score at the end of it.
Now a chance for Johnny Lyman from that kick out. He lays it back as far as Ian Martin. Ian with the shot, but goalkeeper Ross Groon is just standing at his post there, just making sure that one is not, no one gets on the end of it. He just lets it hop harmlessly out over the end line and wide. First real attack as such for the Downs. Mullingar have really been on top of possession. Spare man down this side. See, there's no breeze. There is a breeze, yeah, but it's not really helping anyway. It seems to be blown across into the stand here in TG Cusick Park, so it won't really have much of an impact on it.
No, I don't think so. And like we've been finding out that the midfield battle is where games are mostly won. So Shamrocks have to win the last couple of kickouts, and that's why they're on top.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly was coming in there. He was fouled there. I don't know whether the referee was going to blow the whistle. The ball initially had come in as far as Dean Moore. Dean didn't control it, but he laid off a lovely ball from his knees. But Ryan Kelly, you just see the down for the he will goes to ground, get a nice return pass. Now just sit there, not a whole lot in it, but it's easy to say that from up here.
Yeah, and he actually looks to be in some pain, so maybe he twisted something or went over his ankle or something, but there didn't look much to be in it. It didn't look that there was much in it, to be honest.
Yeah, just looking at Ryan as he's down over there, it looks like it is maybe a twist to the ankle or something like that, because he certainly seems to be in a little bit of pain. And he's started lively, so Shamrocks won't want to lose a player after, we're only 6 minutes in or thereabouts. I see Larkin Smith warming up down there, all right. So
yeah, he doesn't look comfortable at all there. Just he must have went over on his ankle or something funny must have happened anyway. But he certainly doesn't look comfortable there on the ground.
Jordan Ward is just getting stripped down in front of us here, wearing the number 19. It is indeed.
Yeah, that's a pity now.
Yeah, young player, talented young player, so off after just 6 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, being replaced by Jordan Ward, though, not a bad substitute to bring in, full of energy, full of life. You normally gets a score, so.
Yeah, indeed, he got the score that leveled it. Moore off the upright, stays in play, and it's the Downs defenders that are first to react from it as it came down here, and they start building from deep inside their own half, carrying it forward. Joe Moore, cross into the centre. Downs carrying it forward here. It's Ian Martin. Ian fisted ball on as far as Kevin Sullivan. Kevin back to Martin again as they head towards the Shamrocks 45. Ball in as far as Luke. Green jersey swarming around him, does well, holds it off, leaves it off to Dean Egerton. Dean back now to Joe Moore, and Joe coming forward at pace. Downs nice and slick, putting it through the hands. Egerton is involved again as Kevin Sullivan there. If he wants to use him, he does. He pops it back out to Sullivan. Luke is there as well, and we see Dylan Matthews just staying in front of Luke, keeping between the goals and the corner forward. Johnny Lynham just holds the play down, just slow things right down, and they'll do now. They'll have possession, they'll probe, and they'll try and get an opening here now. And Luke steps in towards his right hand side, gives it inside, but a lot of green jerseys in there. Wasn't much of a pass for Johnny Lynham. Johnny just shakes his head there at Luke. Shamrocks turn it over here now, and they have it with Donegal Maguire. Need to get it out of that defensive area, and then a nice ball from Shane Ormsby on to Dara Daly. Daly quickly on now to Brendan Riley. Brendan back inside to Daly again. Shamrocks just a little bit slow getting forward here now. They have numbers, but they're just entering the Downs half of the field here. Brian Gearan, and across to the far side it goes, and Davy Gavin comes forward. Davy runs into a lot of traffic there, manages to hold on to the ball, but then referee, correct decision there, too many steps. Charlie Drum was involved there, and They got the free and the possession back for the Downs, and the ball given forward now. Kevin Sullivan back to Joe Moore, and Joe tries to go inside but goes to the ground and gives it to Sullivan. Don't know how he managed to get that ball through, but it's a great save by Ross Caroon, but the referee is coming back. He was playing an advantage. But the full forward was a Dean Egerton. I think they got the shot away in the end of 14, but it was great play there, great hands, just proves the potential and the capabilities in that Downs attack.
Yeah, that's a good example there of the pace and the power that the Downs team possess. I think Shamrocks tried to get a foul on twice there, and the Downs boys just shook it off straight in for goal. Great save by Ross Croom, but the ref comes back for the earlier free. So just a warning sign there now for Mullingar Shamrocks.
Yeah, Luke is going to kick this one left-footed, and he makes no mistake. Yeah, single pointer, 2-1 for Shamrocks with just 9 3/4 minutes gone in this opening half. Ross Caroon heads out again to the 20-metre line, looks up, and then just goes high down the centre. Up they go. But a couple of Mullingar men stay down for the breaking ball. Joe Moran looked like he might have picked it off the ground there. The referee didn't see it, and Downs get possession of back again now, and there's a chance for Lorcan Mullen to come forward. Pops it back inside as far as Johnny Lynham over to the far side where Ian Martin playing at centre half forward tonight. Goes across to the far side, and eventually the ball is fired across in looking for the inside forward line there, but Ross Caroon was alert to that one. He just gathered that one. He starts Mullingar on the attack. Shandonagh back as far as Dara Daly. Daly was absolutely outstanding in the last game against St. Lomond. Started the game well here, opening score after about 20 seconds as Shamrocks just hold that possession, stretching the Downs. Downs making sure they hold 3 players in that half of the field now. And Dara Daly tries to get forward. He gives it off now to Brendan Riley. Brendan tries to beat his man, holds the possession. Dara Daly trying to signal, looking for somebody to make a run inside. Gives it back to Paddy Fagan. Paddy inside to Jordan Moore. Jordan has Davy Gavin in space over on that far side. Davy gets to the ground, heads across the 45 towards the arc, then lays it off, and the shot comes in. It's high, but I don't think it's going to be on target. Umpire's looking up at it and signaling that one gone left and wide. I think it was Brian Gearan with the shot, and he knew by his reaction that he hadn't got it on target.
Yeah, there's a couple of 2-pointer opportunities now squandered from both sides. So I'd say as the game goes on, you see less and less of those, and they'll be getting the ball inside the arc.
Kieran Nolan is coming forward down along the sideline over on the terrace side here. Takes it right into the corner. Luke is there to take it. Luke gives it inside to Kevin Sullivan. He continues on his run, gets the ball back, put it through the hands now. Back here as far as Lorcan Mullen. Mullen back to Loughlin again, into Dean Egerton. Dean then from just outside the arc with the left foot. Just said, we'll sort that out. Great score there from Dean Egerton. First 2 points of the game coming from play, but it was almost casual there, the way he just stood. Looked like there was no other option. So here, bang, let's have a shot at it, and he gets the 2-pointer for the Downs.
Yeah, just so you're saying that they might stop trying them, but there must be a wind in that goal, because that's 3 shots they've had down in that end, the Downs, to try and get 2-pointers. 2 of them haven't come off. The third one straight over the bar, gets a 2-pointer and puts them a point in the lead.
Yeah, 3-2 was the kick out. Hopped off a couple of sets of hands there from the Downs, and they eventually do get it under control, and that man Egerton has it, and he quickly transfers it into Luke on the run. Dylan Matthews shows him the end line, but Luke doesn't need many opportunities to get in along the end line. The ball not being dealt with by the defenders there, and it's worked back out, and it is eventually clipped over the bar. Dean Egerton, nice and opportunistic point there from the full forward there. But Mullingar had enough defenders back there to deal with that. It's always a dangerous thing to show Luke Loughlin a little bit of space, because with his pace and even from the ground he managed to influence the game. Kept the ball in play, and they worked it back. Now Ross Caroon will kick out this time straight into the middle for Johnny Lynham. Johnny carrying it towards the D, lays it off here now, and Kevin Sullivan. Oh, Kevin, well blocked down there with his opposite number 10 there. That's Brian Gearan, and now Shamrocks with a chance to break down that side. Dennis Caroon has it. Dennis knocks it to the ground where Gearan has been following up there, and Gearan gives it inside to Davy Gavin. Quickly transfers it on here now to Donnacha Maguire. Maguire has John O'Reilly here on this side. Riley, he shepherded towards the side and just stops, holds the possession back to Jordan Ward. Jordan, inside it goes here where Dylan Matthews has come right forward. Shamrocks trying to get the numbers into the Downs half of the field. Dara Daly sets up. Downs with a defender just sitting back in there. Joey Moore just sitting there in front of the D, trying to prevent the ball from coming through to Dean Moore or Paddy Fagan inside. But Shamrocks don't waste it, they just hold it, they work it over and back. Chance now for Brendan Riley. Brendan, he's looking up but nothing available, so he just holds the possession. Dara Daly tells Jordan Moore to go to the left where Davy Gavin has a chance to come forward. Davy pops it inside to Dennis Caroon, lays it off quickly to Daly again. All this happening outside the Downs defensive 45 as Jordan Ward now has a chance to cross the 45 before giving it to Brendan Riley. Brendan holding it out, holding possession. The Downs try to close him down, try to shepherd him back out further and further. Shane Ormsby involved there, and a nice ball across into the centre where there's a chance here now for John O'Reilly. John just holds it, gives it back now to Davy Gavin. Davy, long ball across to Shane Ormsby. 4-2 in favour of the Downs. We're just halfway through this opening half as Dara Daly holds possession. Just watching inside James. The Downs going 1-on-1, covering the runs all over the place, not giving Mullingar any space inside.
Yeah, and Shamrock showing some really lovely control here in the ball, passing it left and right. They don't want to go into it, they don't want to run into that middle section where all those Downs players are ready for the turnover, right? And they're after winning their free here now. But really, really clever football. But it can be dodgy at times as well. If they get turned over here in this middle section, the Downs are going to be straight at the goal. So, but holding a really, really good possession, trying to get it one-on-ones, and they're after winning the free here, and Ross comes up to try and clip it over.
Yeah, we surely have put the commentators cursing Ross after bigging him up before the game, but this one, it's a 2-point effort. He's just asking the linesman exactly where it's going to be taken from. It's a difficult enough free, James. Right footed, not really to suit the right footed kicker. Breeze though is kind of coming across the face of that goals. Yeah. Then, Ross got caught between two minds there, and eventually trying to get a spare player over in the far side, manages to kick him straight to Kevin Sullivan. Kevin carries it forward. Downs supported, encouraged him to keep carrying it forward there, but to get the numbers back here now. But Luke Loughlin has it. Dylan Matthews just closes it down on his left, force him to come back on his right, but Downs just hold that possession to have it back with Billy Moffat. Billy with his teammate in space over on that far side. They work it over there. There's a chance to come forward there. Oisin Murphy. The Downs come across to Ian Martin. Nice play through the hand. Joe Moore drops the shoulder, gets in a little bit of space, and the Downs with a chance to get the shot in, but under a little bit of pressure there. Ball has gone wide, but I'm not sure whether the referee had blown a whistle or not. He's going in to talk to his two umpires. Don't know if there's anything wrong with. Did you see anything wrong there, Jim? We just watched the replay of it there again. Joe Moore did well. He came inside. Certainly there was a good opportunity. It was good. I don't think there was anything wrong, and the referee.
I don't think so. Shamrock's living dangerously there, Ross Croon, as you were talking. He obviously didn't fancy that kick into the teeth, into the wind. Went to go cross field. Kevin Sullivan intercepted, but I think they just got away with one. I don't think Ross will be trying that again anytime soon. He might be going for the shot the next time.
Yeah, kick out is gathered very, very well by Dara Daly. From Johnny Lynham does well. Gets the possession for his side back there as far as Brendan Riley. Brendan about to be closed down, but does well to hold the possession. And cross from Dylan Matthews to Adam Glynn. Glynn steps forward, gives it now to Dennis Caroon. The two number 14s coming together, but it is Caroon that has the possession. Very, very close to the sideline, trying to get around Kevin Sullivan there. Sullivan fouls him there, free for the Mullingar man. Taken quickly, and Davy Gavin had to come up off the shoulder straight away. David trying to come back inside, and then just opts to give it back to Caroon on the loop round. Dean Moore has been quiet so far. Pops it back to Paddy Fagan. Paddy opens the play back into the centre with a little bit of space here for Donegal Maguire. Maguire quickly transfers it on as far as Brendan Riley. Brendan with brother John in support there, that has to hold the ball, but again great tackling there by the Downs, and the force Mullingar just to hold that possession, but it's an opportunity here for Brian Gearan. For a moment there was a bit of space for him, but just went sideways gives it off to Davy Gavin. Davy back to Gearan, and they're going to come to this side of the field where Jordan Ward is there along with Brendan Riley, but Brendan goes back centre where Gearan had stayed inside in the centre half hour. He's going to fill space down on this right hand side now. He's on the ball again, but Downs very disciplined there, but good work from Gearan as he gets by Billy Moffat and pops it on quickly to John Riley. John on the left foot. He's not going to go wide because he's going to drop harmlessly into Trevor Martin's chest now. There's a chance for the Downs. You know, it's one of the things we say, James, kick the ball dead when you're having a shot, because you may not get it back when it's on a tee at the other end of the field.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering there, like, there's actually so much space in behind that first line of Downs defenders. Like, if they can get Dara Daly on the edge of the square, Brian Gear and Dennis Croon, would there be an opportunity there to kick it in one-on-one, see if something will happen, just to switch up their game just a little bit, because at the moment they're carrying it up to this, just outside the 45 and holding the ball.
That's a fabulous kick again from Dean Egerton. Dean's second two-pointer. Again, it does look like the wind, you know, is favouring into that end. We've seen Ross Grew not fancy one at this end, and then that time from well outside the arc, Dean Egerton fires it over the bar with the left foot again, and the league gone out 6 points to 2 with just 20 minutes gone.
That's an excellent start by Dean Egerton. That's 5 points I have for two pointers and a 1 pointer, so they really need to get tight on Dean Egerton there.
Kick out, gathered in the middle by Johnny Lynham, takes it quickly, the free on to Joe Moore, and Joe takes it back into traffic and then just lays it off to Ian Martin. Ian, playmaker tonight. Normally that number 11 jersey has been filled by Andrew Kilmartin. Andrew carrying a bit of an injury, so doesn't start tonight. With the Downs, of course, knowing that they're already qualified, can afford to rest the player, and this time the shot comes in. It was Oisin Murphy with him, but that's wide number 3 for the Downs. 3 wides for the Downs, 2 for Mullingar. It's almost 21 minutes in the clock, but more importantly, 6 points for the Downs, 2 for Mullingar Shamrocks. Shamrocks had open score in 20 seconds, and then only 1 point really showed in the following 20 or so minutes.
Yeah, and it shows the value of the 2 pointers as well. You know, there's been two pointers, like, so it just stretches that lead out just a little bit extra, you know, rather than the old school 1 point, I suppose.
Yeah, good work on the kick out there. Dara Daly went high to make sure the Downs didn't get clean possession, and they win the dirty ball then to the Shamrocks men. Shane Ormsby just pops it over to Mark Evers. Mark hasn't been involved too much so far, but first opportunity for him to get into the Downs half of the field. Back to Ormsby. There's an injury to one of the Downs players just off camera, but referee is allowing the play to go on because Brendan Riley has possession, tries to fire it in front of Dean Moore. Dean gets it, lays it off quickly to John Riley. John, reverse ball to Donnacha Maguire. Maguire fists it on inside where Paddy Fagan shows in front of his man. Paddy trying to get a little bit of space here, and then had nobody in support then, and for fear of giving away a possession, and a heavy tackle on Fagan there by Joe Moore there as he was going down the ball. Referee signals. Get a look at it there, but Paddy Fagan had got possession earlier on, had no one to help him then. Did Mullingar to hold on to possession, and then as Paddy was going down on the ball, just frontal charge there.
Yeah, a little bit better than Shamrocks that time. You know, 2 kick passes, and then they were already, you know, inside the 21. But the other side of that was they needed to get players up to support Paddy there. He was in the corner all together by himself there. So a little bit better, but I think they could get more off that. If they can get a ball into the full forward line, and maybe someone running off the shoulder, maybe that might be able to create something, get something going for them.
Ross Caroon has a chance from this free. He's outside the 40-metre arc. Again, I don't blame him for now on, because it's an awkward kick for the right-footed player, so let's see how he gets on. He's certainly going to fancy it anyway. He nails it. Lovely ball. Now it's gone over the bar, which I would imagine will be just a 1 point because he got a touch going over the bar. But nice kick from Ross Crooney. He just drilled it, but just low enough for the defender and the goalkeeper to get a touch on and prevent the 2-pointer. 6-3 to come away with a score. James, badly needed score.
Yeah, and I was watching the yellow flag that was just in front of him. That's picking up that win, so he did well to even get it that far, in fairness to him, and it just got helped on its way over. Yeah,
Shamrocks do well to win the kick out again. Dennis Caroon carries it forward. He gives it back to Davy Gavin, who looks up and sees that Brendan Riley has a little bit of space here. He moves it on quickly as far as his brother John. John gets it into the hand And they work it back into the centre where Dara Daly steps forward, lays it off quickly over to his left hand side. Dennis Groon has come out to get involved in this one. Dennis fires in now. This one is hanging in the wind. Paddy Fagan is there. Paddy, oh, he got a touch to it. Kieran Nolan and Trevor Martin come out, but Paddy Fagan got in between them. He got a touch on it, and for the Shamrocks men, agonising as it just went wide. It was Dennis Groon that took the shot. It hung up in the air. You had said it about getting people 1-on-1 in there. That time it was Paddy Fagan, and he was
very unlucky.
Unlucky there, just the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, and the drop shot is probably the most dangerous shot pass, we'd say, in Gaelic football. The shot, because it comes straight down vertical. It's very, very hard to judge it and judge it right as a keeper coming out. Paddy Fagan gets his fist. That really could have went anywhere, and he was just unlucky. It snuck the wrong side of the post.
Well, as far as the Downs, or as far as Mullingar were concerned, the right side as far as the Downs, and from the short kick out, the Downs have got a free, and they have set an attack in motion again here where Dean Egerton right out on Mullingar's defence is 65 metre line. They'd prefer him a little bit closer to the goal, certainly in around that arc. He's kicked two fabulous 2-pointers. Charlie Drum hasn't been involved much in this game so far, but gives it over quickly here now where Oisin Murphy has joined the attack. Recycle it back as far as Billy Moffat. Moffat to Luke Loughlin. Luke on to Joe Moran. High tackle on Joe Moran. Joe just slipped, goes to ground, but it's going to be an opportunity now, I'd imagine, for Luke Loughlin to kick this, and it will be a 2-point attempt. And Luke will kick it from the ground.
Yeah, and the down showing their passing really there. I don't think anyone took a play in the last bit of section. 2 or 3 really quick fire passes. One, Joe Moore went to step inside and just got pulled in the high tackle. So an opportunity here for a 2-pointer from Luke off the ground.
Yeah, 25, almost 26 minutes. 6 for the Downs, 3 points from Mullingar. Chance for Luke to stretch that lead. He's fairly central. Kicking it from the ground with the left foot. See now if the breeze has any effect on it. He's coming forward. Gets a nice connection on, but I think it's gone just to the left and wide. No problem with the distance there, but you see the effect of the breeze coming across from the terrace side. Just kept it outside the upright.
Yeah, he'd be unlucky with that, but I suppose that'll gauge his next shot if he gets an opportunity at it. That was his first shot at a goal, I think. Off the ground it's a difficult one, but I'd say if he gets an opportunity like that again, he'll be able to judge it much better.
Again, great fielding from the kick out there by Johnny Lynham. Goes high, gets the mark, takes it quickly, gives it off now to Dean Egerton. Dean heads over towards that far sideline. Inside. Watch the play here. The shot comes in and it's not going to be on target. Another wide. I think it's getting more and more confusing. The crowd are shouting that there's only 2 men up, whereas Mullingar have 3 of them in that end of the field. One player inside just hanging in around the goals, and I think that's more of a distraction than anything, as far as I'd be concerned anyway. But kick out has gone long, and Billy Moffat picks it up. He gives it back to Kieran Nolan. Kieran had stepped forward and gives it to Oisin Murphy, and they start an attack again where Ian Martin has time to gather and turn, come forward with it unopposed and pops it inside. Kevin Sullivan has been involved in a lot of good play further down so far. Back to Dean Egerton. Egerton transferred it quickly, and Charlie Drum now with a chance to come forward. Gives it back to Johnny Lynham, and then Dean Egerton on the loop. I think for a second they thought about having a go for the hat-trick of 2-pointers, but just holds the possession. Then the Downs recycle. Luke Loughlin. Dylan matches in front of him. Luke now, he's going to fancy this one with the right foot. He's outside here. 2-pointer. Beautiful kick there from Luke Loughlin. And again, Dylan matches the defender. Didn't do much wrong there, but great kick from Luke off the right foot.
Yeah, Dylan Matches did an awful lot right there, to be honest with you. He's been trying to keep Luke on his right foot the whole time. Unfortunately, Luke can kick with that right foot as well, and the second he got a bit of space, he gets just to the edge of the arc, clips it over for a 2-pointer. So that's the danger with Luke. You can keep him on his right all you want, but he'll kick points with that right foot as well as his left.
8-3, 28.5 minutes on the clock. Downs on top, predominantly in the middle of the field, getting on a lot of those kick outs, their own as well as Shamrocks, and Johnny Lynham involved very much here now, as is Dean Egerton. Dean comes forward, gives it to Charlie Drum, and they put it through the hands again, and Lynham Trying to get it off quickly to Billy Moffat. Billy just not on the same wavelength there, but it is back now with Oisin Murphy. Murphy gives it forward to Ian Martin. Ian lays it off over on that far side where Charlie Drum was really pushed forward from the full back position. Now just running down the clock. Hold the possession, give it on now, and Billy Moffat has a chance to come forward with a little bit of space, and Luke had followed the run around, and it's a lovely ball inside Joe Moore, and can Joe steady himself to get the shot in? He can do that exactly, he gets it over the bar. But James, we see the patience of the Downs there and their movement there, all in, you know, and very much in evidence in that attack. You see Luke ever on the move there, you know, and then doesn't take the shot on. The seat that there's a player on the loop inside. That was Joe Moore, and Joe came across in the centre, and an easy point for him.
Yeah, really, really good play. They probed down the far side, realised that all the space was on this near side, got the ball over as quick as possible. A really, really good pass by Luke with a fist pass just to get Joe Moore on the run. He breaks the tackle and clips it over the bar. But again, just that showing that pace and power that they possess when they turn it on. It's really, really hard to defend against.
Yeah, good catch on the kick out there from Dara Daly. Got the mark, and Shamrocks moved inside, but Davy Gavin coming forward goes to ground. He
doesn't look happy either.
Doesn't look too happy with it either, yeah. Davy's been struggling with injuries throughout most of the year. Referee, I think, is he signaling from?
He's holding his hammer, is he? Looks like.
The referee is indicating at least 1 minute additional time at the end of this half.
He gave the signal there. He's not happy anyway, Davy Gavin. Again, he went into a tackle, but he kind of buckled there with his leg, whatever happened. So another injury that it looks like he's done it to himself again. Like, certainly like he's taking the tape off his hands and everything. I'd say he's done.
Looks like it, yeah. But anyway, they have no substitute in yet, and probably is going to be the last play of the half. Shamrocks trying to get a score just before that whistle. 1 minute of additional time. It's just up. Paddy Fagan has possession back in that corner. Gives it back to Dara Daly. Daly inside again. Brian Gearan pops it off now to Dennis Croon. Dennis with that left foot fired across the front of the goals, but that one not going to trouble the scoreboard man here in TG Cusick Park. Across the face of the goals and wide, nobody able to get on the end of it. I do see a sub starting to warm up down below. I don't think it's going to be time for it. No, there's not, because the referee Niall Ward blows the half-time whistle. 9 points to 3. The Downs will be quite happy with how that has gone. Remember, Mullingar Shamrocks opened the score with a score inside of 20 seconds or so, and have really struggled since. But then the Downs had 3 2-pointers. Dean Egerton with 2 of them, and Luke Loughlin with another one. 3 of them really been the difference in the game so far.
Yeah, I was going to say that the 2-pointers really proven to be the difference. The difference is 9 points to 3, 6 points. The Downs have after getting 3 2-pointers. So maybe Shamrocks might be able to get a few easier ones in the second half with that bit of a breeze. But Shamrocks started really well. Had that very early goal chance 20 seconds in. They were unlucky to clip it over the bar. Imposed themselves in midfield, got a couple of shots on, but as the game wore on, I think the Downs have become more and more comfortable. Kind of got on top of midfield, but when you possess the shooters like Dean Egerton and Luke Loughlin at the moment, you know, if they get a shot, more often than not it's a point. So Shamrocks really have to knuckle down on those two boys, in particular in the second half.
Game hasn't really sparked as such, you know. Mullingar obviously have more to play for in this game. Downs are already they're already gone through to a semi-final, so really it's up to Mullingar to, you know, take the game to the Downs, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would expect that in this third quarter. You know, I suppose the key quarter of every game, just, you know, when they come out for the second half, the next 15 minutes, and I would imagine the Shamrocks would come out all guns blazing, and depending on what the other results are in the other games, really, I don't know. So
I just have to hear an announcement there now. I'll try and confirm it, but I think it's St. Lomans 1-4, Thurles Pass 1-2. I think that's one of the half-time scores. I think we're all on Twitter this weather now to see if we can keep up to date with it. To see if it's been updated.
Yeah, but you're right, I suppose. Like, Shamrocks have to come out, as if the other results aren't in their favour, that kind of way, and come out all guns blazing in the second half to try and, pip the down, and do everything in their power, that they can do in order to consolidate their place in the quarterfinals or semi-finals.
Look, we're going to take a break here on the commentary. Myself and James will be back in good time for the second half, and hopefully have an update for you on those other two games that are currently taking place in this Section A of the round 5 of the Shamrocks Senior Football Championship. But for now, we're going to take a break.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Murtagh Precast.
Welcome viewers back to the second half in TG Cusick Park. First thing I want to say is that we have two half-time scores, James. St. Lomans 1-4, Thurles Pass 1-2. And in the other game, it's Athlone 1-7, Coruscant Kinnegad 7 points. So, as they stand, I think if our maths are right, it's St. Lomans going through to a semi-final, and Mullingar and
Athlone will be, Athlone
will
be third, and Mullingar Shandonagh will be fourth, as we stand, I think, yeah.
Davy Gavin also hasn't come back out for the second half. We just had the announcement he's been replaced by the number 22. It's Effie Sayodi. Referee just making sure everybody's off the field. Getting ready. Johnny Lynham and Dara Daly, two big men in the middle of the field. Referee signals the whistle and up it goes. And Dara Daly gets a hand to it again, knocks it down, and there's a chance for Shane Ormsby to go forward. John O'Reilly is on his shoulder straight away, gives it inside to Paddy Fagan. Paddy, trying to get away from his man, has come inside, but his attempted shot is half blocked down, but it's danger in there. But heads up play there from Kieran Nolan, got high, he knew he had a teammate in support on the ground in front of him, just broke it down, and the Downs get that possession now, and they come forward with it now with a chance with Oisin Murphy, carried right down the centre. As a teammate over on this side, it's Ian Martin. Ian gives it back inside for Dean Egerton. Dean top scorer in that opening half, 5 points, two 2-pointers and 1 point from play as well. As the Downs probe here now, Kevin Sullivan, and now Dean Egerton. This time he's inside the D, but that one is not going to be on target. That one has gone to the left and wide. The opening minute, 9 points to 3. James, we were just saying before, it's a type of game we're waiting for something to happen here again. Both teams, I think, just hoping that they're going to, like the Downs know they're going through, and Shamrocks clinging on to the fact that they're going through as well. Hasn't really opened up with any kind of authority or venom in it at all.
Yeah, I suppose we're just looking for a spark here, aren't we? Both teams are going through this game as if they're already through, and the Downs are certainly going to top the table no matter what, and the way the results are going, Shamrock seem to be in fourth place, guarantees a quarter final anyway, so that kind of seems to be the way the game is going. But look, we're looking for a spark here. An old goal or a couple of 2-pointers from Shamrocks maybe might spark this game into life.
Yeah, they have possession now over on that far side where Brendan Riley working quickly through the hands here. Dara Daly just shifts it off here now, and it is fisted across here towards Donncha Maguire. Donncha gets it, jinks back into his right side where Paddy Fagan is waiting to take a pass from. Paddy gives it on inside to Ormsby. Ormsby lays it off to Dean Moore. Dean, he's going to try for a 2-pointer. Dennis Croon is in under this one there, but good goalkeeping there by Trevor Martin. Got a good strong fist on it, got it away from the danger area, and there to pick up the break and ball was Kevin Sullivan. Downs break at pace out of defence here. Coming down the right hand side, Oisin Murphy involved, and Oisin goes back inside where Johnny Lynham is right in the centre. Johnny just looks around him as a couple of green jerseys come close to him, and then he just pops it off as far as Ian Martin. Ian has a teammate in a little bit of space over on that far side. Oisin Murphy, he's carrying it forward. Joe Moore, and Joe just comes to a stand halfway between the halfway line and Shamrock's 65 defensive end. But then to create a little bit of space here for Kevin Sullivan. Kevin comes through the arc, and then he's fancying himself with this one, drops it in, but I think you see the effect of the breeze there. That one looked when it left his foot that it was over the bar, but it just dropped handy into Ross Croon's midriff.
Yeah, that happens, the change of ends. The Downs have to have 2 shots, a one wide and one drop short, but they'll get used to that wind as the game goes on.
Yeah, Shamrocks turn that possession. They have it brought down the field here now where Paddy Fagan goes across into the centre. Dara Daly has another man spare on his right hand side. He doesn't go, but then he tried to find a run from Dean Moore there, but Joe Moore was sitting right back in there. He says thank you very much, and now he carries it forward at pace. Charlie Drum looking for every opportunity he can to go on the attack, trying to get away from Dennis Croon. Pops it on to Johnny Lynham. Lynham looks up, and there's a beautiful ball inside where Philip Martin had made the run. Philip almost goes to the ground, gives it back as far as Dean Egerton, and Dean Egerton pulls the trigger straight away, and we have the opening score of the second half. And from the full forward, number 14, as another sub, Conor O'Brien makes his way in for Mullingar Shamrock.
Yeah, really, really good play. Again, the pace there. Charlie Drummond, he gets going. Johnny Lynham in front of him. Two lads going at full pace, straight at the heart of the Shamrocks defence to get a lovely little pass inside. Half chance of a goal, I suppose. It comes back out, and Dean Egerton then clips it over for a 6 points of the game. He's having a really, really good game, Dean Egerton.
Substitution just made there by Mullingar Shamrocks. Conor O'Brien wearing the number 9 does start, and he replaces Donegal Maguire. The kick out was feeded very well by Dara Daly. Then it took a heavy hit in the back there, and actually he's holding his head out there, but two big men jump for the ball, but the referee has deemed that Johnny Lynham committed the foul, and it looks like it's going to warrant a card, but it looks like I would imagine it to be a yellow one. It is indeed yellow card for Johnny Lynham. Dara Daly makes his way back onto his feet, and first opportunity for Conor O'Brien to get involved in the game as he takes the free to get us underway again. Takes the return pass, and Dara Daly is spare over on the far side. Daly looks up and then gets the chance to carry it forward here. Heads turned Downs 45. He's still allowed to run. Gives it in to O'Brien. O'Brien carrying it in on his left footed side. Oh, that might have been the one we were looking for. But nice introduction there from the big midfielder. He came forward there and he opened up in front of him. Dara Daly gave him a lovely ball. He came in on his left. It's his strongest side. Got the shot away, and Trevor Martin had to be alert there. Deflect that one over the bar. Good score for Mullingar. 5.5 minutes gone. Maybe that's the score that just brings Mullingar to life.
Yeah, really, really good save by Trevor Martin then. But Dara Daly just took a chance, ran straight at the heart of the defence. It just opened up for him. Conor O'Brien on the end of the move, and really unlucky not to rattle the net there. A great save by Trevor Martin. But, we need to see more of that from Mullingar Shamrocks.
Yeah, with the Downs trying to respond to it here now, and there's a chance for Ian Martin, and Ian will be disappointed with that one because it opened up to him. He had chance, he stopped. There was a lot of space for him, but pulled it across the face of the goals, and he'd be disappointed with that shot. Still remains 10-4.
Yeah, he was unlucky there. Got into a lovely pocket of space. Took the shot, just didn't execute it as well as he could, but unfortunate there.
Ross Caroon with the kick out here this side of the field. Shane Ornsley goes high. He goes off Shane hand out over the sideline. It's going to be a line ball. Kevin Sullivan gets the ball back from the Shamrocks bench there and takes the line ball, gives it back to Kieran Nolan. Kieran back to Sullivan again. Sullivan pops it inside. There's a chance for Oisin Murphy now to come forward. Full forward is Dean Egerton. Dean, two pointers, 2 points from play as well as he circles around that halfway line, pops it on to Kieran Nolan, and then Lucan gets involved, takes the ball, steps inside Dylan Matthews. Thought about taking the shot on, but has support there from Oisin Murphy. The ball moved inside now. Johnny Lynham, he's just outside the arc. Doesn't take the shot on. Back to Egerton again. Downs are really composed, James. Never panic. Ball goes to the man in the right position, and with that, Effie Sayodi steps in, but Sullivan very, very strong on the ball, holds the possession for his side, takes on Brian Gear, gives the ball inside. Quickly there, a high tackle there on Billy Moffat. In fairness, Billy was slipping there, I think, but you can see the experience of the Downs and the confidence that they're playing in as well. Just holding that ball, they don't mind taking into the tackle, they're strong on it. But Billy Moffat came out the worst of that one. We'll see it as he just slipped into the tackle there as well.
Yeah, and it was good by the Downs. They realised Shamrocks were sitting back inside the arc. They said, we're not going anywhere near that. We'll hold the ball out here and you come out and try and tackle us. That's what happened. Effie was unlucky. He got the hand in, nearly got the steal. He was unfortunate. Kevin O'Sullivan did very well to get it back. And yeah, they went hunting in a pack of 3, I think, after that, but just unlucky. There was a slip and then taking out paw in the face, and it's just a handy free, isn't it?
If there's ever such thing for Luke Laughlin, a left-footed kicker, he'll fancy it certainly from the ground again. Try and just draw it in off that far post. Let's see, coming forward. Dean Egerton as well to keep it in place. Dangerous inside there in the square, but Shamrock's trying to get it out. I think that's Brian Gear now was in there tussling for it. He loses the ball, but Dara Daly is there to support him. Dara does very well. Hugely experienced player, really playing well this year for the Shamrocks man. He gets the ball back, gets the free, and starts an attack again.
Oh, impressed with the Downs. Look at the speed they shut down the counter attack on. Like, they're all back out here in the 40, in between the 45 and the 65, just to slow it up just that little bit and get their defence. Kieran Nolan dropping off there and Marshall and everything.
Yeah, but Mullingar have done well here now. The ball is given in as far as Paddy Fagan. Paddy tackled there by 2 Downs defenders. He does well to get it back here to Shane Ormsby. Ormsby, nice dummy, then steps back inside, but right back by Billy Moffat, goes to ground. And Ross is already making his way forward with this one. He's going to kick this one just inside the 45. One thing about bringing a goalkeeper forward, he can't do like what he did in the first time. He's got to get the shot away and get it on target.
Yeah, I said in the first half, I don't think he'll be going short ever again. He'll have a crack if it goes wide or goes over the bar. I don't think he'll be too worried, but he definitely doesn't want to go short and get it picked off on the counter attack there for the Downs. So I'm pretty certain we'll see a strike at the target here.
Yeah, this time is the first time he's had a chance to suit the right footed kicker. Coming forward now to the danger. Dar Daly's underneath it. Daly goes high, gets it, lays it off to his right, looking for Dean Moore, but Downsmen swarming around that and they break at pace. Billy Moffat, the latest onto it. Éanna Burke then from the right corner back position, he goes down, but a good covering across there by Mark Evers. Mark did well, kept his eye on the ball, gets possession back inside to Adam Glynn. Glynn close to that sideline, under pressure, but he does very, very well, did the young defender, and Shamrocks handle that situation very well. Dylan Matthews gets it on now to Dara Daly. Daly off to Gearan. Gearan has John O'Reilly on this side if he wants to use one instead. He backs himself. Great pace there from the big number 10. But he now needs a bit of support. Oh, the Shamrocks men are not too happy with that. But Kieran Nolan is very just hands back the ball. Good play there. Experienced player from the centre back. But Shamrocks take it quickly in towards Paddy Fagan. Fagan is trying to shrug Charlie Drum off. He can't do it. Drum force him back out the field. But does well, did Fagan to give it inside to Shane Ormsby. Now they go on that right hand side. Dara Daly over the head there of Brendan O'Reilly, and ball has gone inside where Jordan Ward now is very, very close to the sideline. The downtown goes to ground. Ward trying to keep him in there. 2 against 2 in there. The Shamrocks man goes to ground, and referee didn't blow the whistle. Instead he waits for the signal from his linesman, who signals that it's going to be a line ball for the Downs that Kieran Nolan has taken, and we're underway again. Éanna Burke, Éanna with that left foot fires it across to this side of the field where there's a chance now for Larkin Mullen to come forward. Mullen, but it sees a little bit of space ahead of him, being tackled hard there by John O'Reilly, being fouled by John O'Reilly, and then the free is taken, but given away there and well read by Mark Evers. And now Shamrocks trying to attack at pace. Dean Moore has it again, but a little bit isolated. 3 defenders swarming after him, force him over towards that terrace side. He does well to give it back to Jordan Moore, but good play there by the Downs defence. You said it there, Jim. They just got in around the Mullingar attack there, and really have taken the sting out of it for the moment anyway. But there's a chance here for Dennis Croom with the outside of that right foot as he fires it in. And they all look good when they go over the bar, those ones, but Dennis, he's an expert at it. That time just judged it nicely, dropped it over the bar. Double scores, 10 points to 5, but the game is crying out really for a goal from Shamrocks to set it to life as such.
Yeah, we certainly need something. But I'm really impressed with the Downs defence, and I'm talking about defence as a whole team. Like, their forwards are tackling really, really hard, one to lose the ball. But when Shamrocks, they looked like a bit of a glimmer of hope there. Shamrocks were in, the Downs just shut them off so quick, and the ball had to come back out. Dennis did well to get a point in the end, but they shut off, and as you said, they just take the spark out of the attack just for a couple of seconds. It's just really, really good defending, and Shamrocks haven't really been able to pick the lock yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, Downs have come forward. Oisin Murphy now has a teammate over on that far side. Ian Martin. Ian pops it inside. Philip Martin, he's been very quiet so far. Just gives it back out now to Oisin Murphy inside the arc. And the shot does come in, and this time it's gone across, and it's over the bars. Lovely score there.
Ian Martin, I think
it was Ian Martin that got the finish on it. But the reflection, I think, can read how this game has gone. Mullingar Shamrock struggling to get scores up at one end, and the Downs come back down the other end and just nick over a point. Tom Chute is making his way in. Tom, we haven't seen him for a couple of rounds, but good to see him in, and I think it is Philip Martin that's going to make his way off.
Tom shooting another really, really good forward, another scoring forward that the Downs can call on. And then we'll see that strength and depth now in the second half, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the kick out goes over the heads of 2 or 3 Mullingar Shamrocks men, and Kieran Nolan just mops up the loose ball and has time to look around as the referee has to get out of the way, but it's quick hands there and picked up by Oisin Murphy. Quickly transfers into Luke Loughlin. Lovely play here now as Downs cut through that defence, but then the finish from Larkin Mullen. He was under a little bit of pressure. We have to give the defenders a little bit of credit there. Just knocked them off balance. He was getting the shot in, but we're only for the Downs here. There's a player down as a result of that play.
Yeah, so Oisin Murphy, he passed off the ball to Luke that time and then just collided with someone on the way back. I don't know where he got it now, but again, good play from the Downs. Really quick passing, running off the shoulder, pace coming late, and they got a chance for a goal there. Just unlucky that it went wide, but again, really, really good play.
This is Oisin Murphy, number 5, but he's back on his feet again. Down to a couple of subs warming up down on our left hand side, but I don't think anyone going to be brought in just yet. Murphy's back on his feet. He's making his way back into his half back position as Ross Croon fires one out high and is gathered on the break there by Conor O'Brien. Conor, his attempted pass, was looking for Dennis Croon. Croon just knocked it down, but O'Brien was onto the breaking ball quickly and has got the free now, and Paddy Fagan has it again. Fagan inside to Dennis Croon again. Dennis off to Effie trying to burst through that Downs defend. We can see it there, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them there in around the Mullingar Shamrocks men, and just sheer numbers again turn the possession over, and chance now for the Downs to break. Kevin Sullivan, a good tackle on there by Paddy Fagan, but then Paddy a little bit frustrated there, pulls the Downs down around the neck, and with that sub coming in as Joe Moran is the number 7, is making his way off, and the sub coming in is the number 18 Conor Coughlin.
Again, that defending there by the Downs, a little sight of goal, and then there's 4 Downs players around the ball carrier. Shut up shop straight away and they win the ball back. So I know they're the highest scorers in the championship, but I think they've also conceded the least, and we're seeing reasons why in this game.
And also now a chance for them to empty their bench as such. But 2 players that have brought on that would be automatic starters in probably every other team within the championship. That's Conor Coughlin and Tom Jute.
Yeah, and I suppose that's their real strength. They have so many different options that if someone's just not shooting the lights out or whatever the case may be, they have someone else that can go in. Same in the back line, if someone's having a difficult day, they can put somebody else in. So that strength and depth will really be tested if they're going to go on and win this championship like they are everybody's favourites.
Yeah, Tom Jute had an opportunity there to get a shot away. It didn't connect on it the way he wanted, and Shamrocks get the possession, but been forced to go across the front of their own goals. You can see the Downs really pressing up there. Adam Glynn gets the ball over the far side. 2 Downs men right on top of the Shamrocks man, and referee this time gives the free. Downs not too happy about that, but it's been relentless throughout the game. With 47 minutes gone, James, it's been right from the word go, the way the Downs players defending right from the front.
Yeah, it's so good when they lose the ball or they make a mistake or whatever up in that inside in that 45 metre line, like they don't just run over, they absolutely sprint over to the man on the ball, and they just try and delay it. And you see an example there of Luke doing it now. Look, Tom Jute getting over, and they're just trying to slow down that quick ball out, I suppose. And like I said, Kieran Nolan just sweeps in beside, and he really commands the entire defence, and everyone, I suppose, does what he tells them to do and all that sort of stuff. So they're really, really organised and a really, really professional performance here today from the Downs so far.
11-5 in favour of the Downs. We have a score from Castown. It's an updated one. St. Lomans 3-8, turns past 1-3. So as we stand, we're looking at St. Lomans joining the Downs in the semi-final. But we'll watch this game here now, because the Downs have turned possession over again here as Shamrocks try to get forward. Charlie Drum racing in with it, the ball gone inside. A chance for Kevin Sullivan, tripped. I think he just slipped as he was coming in there. It might have been accidental, but still Mullingar Shamrocks men will plead his innocence on it. But I think the referee has the right decision, and what should be an easy opportunity here for Luke on the 20-metre line just to stretch that lead out.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Sullivan really showing his pace there. I remember we played him in a championship game a couple of years ago, and he he turned me over on his 45, and I said in the blink of an eye he was on the far 45, and I was with my tongue out trying to chase him. So that's his real strength, pace and power down through the middle. And there was a half side of a goal, but I think he just got his ankles clipped there, and a nice handy free.
Larkin Smith has been introduced wearing the number 12. We'll see who will they call on the shore.
Substitution on the Mullingar Shamrocks team. Over a hook check of John O'Reilly was replaced by number 28, Larkin Smith. 18 for Shandonagh.
Larkin Smith replaces John O'Reilly. Larkin heads up into the forwards. Kick out from Roscaroon. Johnny Lynham goes high, gets 2 fists on it, bats it back down. Dylan Matthews' control just let him down there as he went for the ball, and then an opportunity then for Luke Loughlin to come forward. You know what he's going to do. He's going to try and get in on his favourite left foot. Fires that one in, but the time just didn't have the distance on it. It dropped into Roscaroon's hands there under the crossbar. And Mullingar inside their own 20-metre line tried to build out. Brian Gear trying to get away from Ian Martin. He fisted across to that right hand side. Hornsby gives it inside. A chance for Mark Evers to get out. He does well. Pops it on now to Darragh Daly. Daly with Dylan Matthews coming off the shoulder. Now he gets a little bit of space. Does the big full back. Comes forward. Lovely ball inside to Jordan Moore with the left foot. With Jordan 1-on-1 in there with his opponent there. With great defending there. That was Peter Murray inside there. Did very well there on a 1-on-1. It was a lovely ball played in on front of Moore, but Down snuffed out that opportunity, and they're already gone across the halfway line. Good tracking back though by Paddy Fagan there, but Billy Moffat manages to get the ball right back there as far as Kieran Nolan. Then the foul on the Downs man there, and it's going to be a free that Dean Egerton is going to try and take it quickly. In the other game in this group, the latest update: Athlone 2-10, Carlstown Kinnegad 9 points. So I think, James, if my maths are right and the permutations are right, that looks like we're going to have Carlstown Kinnegad and Terrace Pass dropping out of Section A for 2026.
Yeah, it looks like the Downs are going to top the group in first place, Lomond second, Athlone then third, and then Shamrocks will make the quarter final in fourth place.
Another opportunity here for Conor Coughlin to get involved. Get it off to Ian Martin, but ball is fisted inside in the general direction there of Luke Loughlin, but Mark Evers did very well to get in half intercepted there, but the Downs get the possession back and they just slow it down again. Players spread out right across the field here. Billy Moffat with Kieran Nolan stepping forward here. You can see Yoshi Murphy right on the side and here trying to stretch that Mullingar defence from one side of the field to the other. Nothing on the right hand side, so they go back left and now they come right down the centre. Nolan is there again. He pulls so many strings for his side. He's halfway between Shamrocks' 45 and 65. Gives it back across for Billy Moffat now. Sets an attack up. Conor Coughlin lays it off. Ball is flicked inside. Might work out here. Johnny Lynham. Oh, Johnny, he was taking it on the half turn, but just lost control over there, and the opportunity to goal is gone. But a chance for Mullingar to come forward. Effie has it again. Effie looked like his arm was being held there as he held that possession there, and does well to get it back as far as Darragh Daly. 22.5 minutes on the clock. 12 for the Downs. 5 for Mullingar Shamrocks. Paddy Fagan trying to get away from Dean Egerton, does well, and now he looks up, delivers a nice ball in front of Dean Moore. Dean out in front of his man, he's trying to get around him, he's making his way in very close to the end line, gets the fisted ball in, it's off the upright, back as far as Dennis Coronan. Oh, soccer style, did the right thing as that one came back off the upright. He was left on his own inside, he pulled on it first time, volleyed it into the roof of the net. Maybe game on. It's the score we've been looking for. There's still time, 7 minutes to go.
Yeah,
so
really good by Dean Moore there. And he got by his man. It looked like he could have a nice easy clip over the bar. He said, no, I'm going to go and try and go for the goal. He got in a bit closer, tried to fist it over the bar, hit the post, but I mean, Shamrocks get that little bit of luck that they were looking for all game. The ball comes out to Dennis Cronin, he buries in the back of the net, but hopefully now that'll be a spark for the last couple of minutes this game.
Yeah, from the kick out from Trevor Martin, went out over the sideline, so possession back with Mullingar Shamrocks as Effie comes forward with it again. He's gone on the return to take it from Ormsby. His attempted shot inside was deflected at that time. It was Larkin Smith inside there that was trying to hold his player off there and get that ball as it kept spinning inside there in front of the goals, but referee right on top of things, seen that he was holding back his opponent, and free for the Downs, that they've quickly shifted right down to the other end of the field here now. Down shoot, lays it off now to Conor Coughlin. Coming on the loop around is Dean Egerton. Dean, ball into Luke Loughlin. Luke with Dylan Matthews right on his back there as he takes it, gets away from it. He comes in on that end line. Luke content that time just to take the point, flicks it over the bar off his right foot. After 24 and a half, it's 13 from Mullingar, or the Downs 1-5 for Mullingar. And I think that has been a sign of this game. I think I said it there, Downs are able to get the scores that little bit more easy.
Yeah, and really, really good response there as well. You know, all you're waiting for there is Shamrocks get another point or another two in a row, and all of a sudden we're in the game. The Downs hold the ball out there on the far side, get Luke on the end of a move, clip the ball over the bar, and just put that gap in between them again, and just kind of dampen that spark that Mullingar Shamrocks might have after that goal.
Yeah, from the kick out, it broke down. Mark Evers wins the ball and wins the foul for his side, and Larkin Smith comes out looking up and seeing what's available inside, has to hold on to the possession, gives it back again to Mark Evers. Evers, fisted ball to Dara Daly. Daly is halfway between the 45 and 65 on the Downs defensive end of the field as he comes forward. Luke Loughlin gets the tackle on Larkin Smith, does well, knocked the ball out of his hand, but Smith does even better to get it inside, and then Dennis Croon comes out and gets a shot in as Luke Loughlin was diving in trying to put pressure on him, and did enough on that just to not give the time to the Mullingar Shamrocks man to get steady around the shot, and the ball is gone harmlessly over the end line and wide.
Yeah, unlucky in the end, but again, like Luke Loughlin back there got a half a turnover on Larkin Smith, and then is diving at the boot of Dennis Croon. You know, these boys haven't have a game for another 3 weeks, but still they want to win this game, you know, as effectively as they can, and just the hunger shown there by Luke just to try and get a turnover, like even though the game is probably just going to peter out, I say, towards the end.
Shamrocks win the possession from the kick out there. Conor O'Brien, they put it through the hands, you know, and Dara Daly gives it off to Dylan Matthews. Dylan, nice long fisted ball inside. Chance here now for Shamrocks. Can they get another score? Heavy hit there on Brendan Riley as he comes forward. So a chance for Shamrocks. Ross Caroon makes his way forward. Need this score in a hurry. We're into the last 3.5 minutes or so. There probably will be a couple of minutes of additional time. Now James, he doesn't have the option of taking this outside the arc. Foul committed inside, so he goes with the single pointer. I'm sure they would like to get a chance at a 2-pointer, but they need to get a score from this just to narrow it back again. 5 between them at the minute. We can get it back to 4 and then try and get pressure on the kick out. Ross fires it in, and Ross makes no mistake. Second point for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, 4 points in it now. Yeah, I wonder can they get a 2-pointer? Like, I don't know how many they've got throughout the championship so far. Like, who are their 2-pointer shooters? Are they trying to get Dennis Crew maybe on a loop, or Dean Moore, Paddy Fagan, someone like that? Can someone get them a 2-pointer as well, just to close the gap and make it a little bit easier on them?
Yeah, the kick out has gone over on the far side there. Ball touched on the ground there by Kieran Nolan as Conor O'Brien was going to get possession for his side. Brian Gearan then pops it inside to Dennis Croon. Dennis coming right down the centre, looks up and sees that Effie is in a little bit of space on this side. The ball, not the best one in the world, forces Effie just to stretch up for it, but then Jordan Ward flicks it up into the hands of Dara Daly. Daly on to Effie again. Effie, ball inside. And there's a chance now for Jordan Ward. Is he going to take the shot on? He said no, there's 2 big men in front of the goal, so he lobs it in. Ball is bouncing inside, no one able to get a hand on it, and then it's that man Kieran Nolan right back in there in the heart of his defence there as that ball was bouncing around. He's there to pick it up, settle things down, and starts another Downs attack. Shamrocks trying to put a press on this one, but Downs are out and they're breaking that pace over that far side. Conor Coughlin now coming forward over the 45 metre line. A beautiful ball off the outside of the left or the right foot, given inside now. Johnny Lynham. Johnny caught between 2 minds and then tried to roll it into the back of the net. I think it was it Dylan Matthews that came across and got a touch on it and put it out for the 45.
Yeah, Luke and Johnny are having a conversation there. I thought Johnny was right through in the middle of the goal. Luke came right across in front of him. I don't know would he have even got the pass off or not, but they're having a little conversation between them. But they really fluffed it. That was an unbelievable goal chance. Was it Dylan Matches that got a hand in maybe?
Got enough on it to deflect it outside the upright anyway. It is going to be a 45. Luke is going to take it with the left foot. There's another sub going to be introduced late here. It's Conor Hannon, the number 20, as Luke goes short. Gives it off to Egerton and then comes forward and with that left foot he puts it in and puts it over the bar. Downs also introduced in the sub. Number 19 is Liam Faulkner with Brendan Riley that's making his way off as Conor Hannon comes in there. And Oisin Murphy replaced by the number 19 there, that's Liam Faulkner.
Substitution on the Downs team. Number 5, Oisin Murphy is replaced by number DJ, Liam Faulkner. Number 19.
Kick out was from Mullingar, broken over on the far side where Dennis Caroon gives it low along the ground as far as Conor Moore, and Conor's ball inside, picked up by Paddy Fagan, maybe a little bit lucky, but there's a little bit of space in front of him now as Paddy heads down the centre. He's inside the D. 2 minutes of additional time was the call, but it was dangerous. Mullingar seemed to just have pushed a couple of big men in front of the goals. They were trying to get it in on top of them there, but that time Trevor Martin did very well, came out, got enough on it to knock the ball to the ground, and the Downs get the possession. There was a foul there in Ian Martin, but the referee is playing an advantage. The Downs won't mind because they're driving forward again over on that far side. Luke Loughlin has it again. Luke trying to get away from Dylan Matthews, and then backs himself with the shot at a 2-pointer. But again, that one comes across the face of the goals and wide.
Yeah, unlucky there. Trevor Martin, twice he's been called on that dropping ball in top of the square, and twice he's come out and fisted it and done everything he can to keep that ball out of his net. Really, really good defence. I think you're right. The Shamrocks are throwing lads into the full forward line just to see if something will come off, but maybe a little bit too little too late, I think, and the Downs are playing on that counter-attack.
Yeah, Conor O'Brien, we know him better for the oval shaped ball, but that time nice bit of soccer skill and tries to flick the ball back behind him, but unfortunately out over the sideline. Line ball for the Downs that they've taken in as far as Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan lays it off to Billy Moffat. Moffat with the fisted pass over to that far side. A chance for the Downs to come forward again. 2 minutes of additional time was the call. We're into the last 20 seconds or so as they come forward down that far side. Dean Egerton lays it off quickly into Luke Loughlin. Luke with Dylan Matthews standing right in front of him, trying to entice Matthews to come inside. Players making the run all around the place, and Luke is involved again. He has Johnny Lynham all on his own over here on this side of the field. Doesn't use it. Instead he gives it inside to Kieran Nolan. Luke goes forward again, takes it on the right foot and then shifts it on here with a chance for Conor Coughlin. Coughlin with the fisted attempt, and that's gone over the bar. Conor Coughlin with the point, and I think that's going to be the last action of this game, where it is victory for Mullingar or for the Downs. 15 points to Mullingar Shamrocks, 1 goal and 6 between them. But we think this game is academic really as such, that both these teams are going to go through to the knockout stages. We'll wait and see can we get updates. But overall the Downs very, very impressive again.
Yeah, the Downs very, very impressive. Like we spoke about their forwards, but I'm really, really impressed with how they're defending, Ray. As you said in your commentary, defending from the front. When they lose that ball up on the forward line, they're sprinting, trying to put pressure on the man on the ball, just to get a turnover or maybe even a foul, just something to slow them up. And then you've Kieran Nolan, the defenders organising themselves, getting lads back, and they're really, really hard to break down there. And Shamrocks kept coming up against a wall of black and amber every single time. Luke with a couple of points. Dean Egerton really impressed me as well. But I suppose as a team, they're just really, really showing the strength, the pace and the power that they possess, and why they're everybody's favourites for this Flanagan Cup.
Yeah, and I suppose looking for a management, it's the ideal scenario where you have lads chomping at the bit to try and get in there, which means everybody's got to be on their toes. If you have a starting jersey, you're fighting, trying to hold on to that jersey. The lads behind them are trying to get a chance to get in, be it for an injury or for anything. Just get in there, get a chance to get a start, because you know, the Downs do look very impressive this year.
Yeah, and I'd imagine everybody is trying to go for that, you know, starting jersey. I was out in the Downs one time, there was a ladies game on, and the Downs, the men were training after. There must have been about 50 lads down at the pitch, I'd say, Ray. It was unbelievable. They were all down there ready to go, and, you know, they have a junior team that's doing quite well as well, I believe. So, you know, they really want success out in the Downs this year. They're really, really showing it on the pitch. That's 5 wins from 5 with little trouble in any of their games. The meanest defence, they've got the highest score in attack. So all in all, they'll be really, really happy with their group stage and the progress to the semi-final. So they've 3 weeks now to a semi-final. They'll know who they've got after next week. So I suppose they'll be delighted with what they've done so far.
James, I just have an updated score. It's not a full-time score yet. I was at 54 minutes. St. Lomas 3-13, Thurs Pass 1-4. So I think that's fairly, you know, going to be fairly definite that we're going to see Lomans, you know, maybe have limped their way into a semi-final, but I mean, at the start of the year, if you give it any team, get you in a semi-final after the group stage, they would have taken it, and it looks like Lomans have done enough to get in there. Yeah,
that's it, and I'd imagine Lomans are delighted as well with that. You know, they've got 3 weeks to, you know, get lads back from injury. Maybe there's some lads I remember at the very start of the championship, they were decimated by lads away, there were lads injured, they had a good few debutants in the first couple of games, so like to go through all that and still be in a semi-final, exactly where the Downs are as well, you know, nobody talking about Lomans, they'll be very, very happy there as well, just to have 3 weeks to get lads back fit or get lads back into the panel and work on things that they need to work on. But I'd say Lomans would be delighted as well, to be honest.
James, teams now going through to the quarter final, they're going to turn around. You know, it could be 6-7 days, whatever, maybe 8 days, whatever, depending on when the fixture are going to be next week. I think a lot of them are going to be on the Saturday. So it's a short turnaround, you know, at this stage of the year where the pitches have turned now as conditions are getting heavier, wetter, whatever. It's tough on lads now as well after going through the campaign that you end up with a quarter final, you know, coming up so quickly.
Yeah, I suppose, it'd probably be 6 or 7 days. Well, they're definitely next weekend, so they're either going to be Saturday or Sunday. I suppose that's the hardest part, is just getting the body right, like, because after a game, it doesn't matter if it was the easiest game of your life or the toughest game, you're still going to have knocks and bangs and bruises. Shamrocks, a couple of players went off, they're injured. How bad is their injury? Will they be able to train this week? Will they be able to play next weekend? These are all the things that are going through, I suppose, the management's head. But look, again, at the start of the year, you know, you want to get to a quarter final or semi-final if you can. The Downs are going through to a semi-final, they're happy out. Shamrocks will be playing next weekend in a quarter final, so they're also happy out. So, you know,
just an update, James, the final score from Castletowngagan, where it was St. Lomas 3-16, Thurs Pass 1-6. So that's one of the permutations sorted out. We now know our 2 semi-finalists anyway, waiting on the result from Moat. Between Athlone and Coruscant Kinnegad. We'll get it before we go off here. We'll give it to our listeners. But yeah, just go back there, the short turnaround, and then there's teams playing tomorrow that's going to even have it 1 day less, including yourselves. You'll have to turn it around. So next week for a lot of you guys, it's going to be about recovery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bandages, cotton wool, water, protein, recovery boots, whatever works for you, that'll be used this week. But I suppose that's the good thing about our championship. Like, we want football matches. We have a match every single 2 weeks. This is the hard part, I suppose, where you go from the end of the group stage to a quarter final. But you know, if you can get through that period, you know, we all want football matches anyway. We don't want to train too much, especially as you said, the weather is after turning. I see lads come back with hats on their heads now, Under Armours are on, like, it's gotten a little bit colder, their boots have changed, so look, it's brilliant.
And we will add, it's not the peaky cap that you have on you, it's the heavy woolly ones that are out again now. Yeah. You know, so we're training at night time. You know, as the year goes on, teams are training now. If you're lucky enough to have lights, or they're going to be looking for all of that as well now, you know, at this stage of the year as well. So it all adds up to it. But, you know, when you start training back in the dirty days in January and February, this is when you want to be at.
Yeah, we do always say, like, when you're starting training in whatever it is, November, December, January, the horrible, dirty, cold weather, and you're standing at the end of a run, and you know you're going up and down 20 times or whatever, you always want to come back, you know, at this time of year when it's wet again and it's cold again. You know, that's the sign of a good year. So there's a couple of teams there now that are going to be training, you know, on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever train, and there's going to be a couple of teams whose year is over this weekend. Like, so you always want to be that team that's still playing.
Yeah, and look at one of them is just leaving the field here as the Downs. They definitely know they're going to have a break of 3 weeks now to is that any harm either, James? Is it a chance to recover, a chance to get injuries right, or is the delay of that week, the extra couple of weeks, is it going to lead them? Will they play a challenge game? What would you be doing now with the 3-week gap to fill in?
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what the management want. Do they want to look at other players that maybe haven't had as much game time as what they maybe would have expected? I'd imagine they'd use this week as recovery. Sometimes on a Tuesday they might not do a whole pile, or they might just leave Tuesday training off and we'll meet on the weekend. A job done. We're in the semi-final now. Can we get how can we prepare for the next round in the semi-final? But I think it'll be easy for them to go training. They're after beating everyone in their wake without too much trouble. They're in the semi-final. Lads will be coming down happy, smiling their face, ready to go for a semi-final and to see who they get. So I'd say they'll be delighted, with their work so far.
James, we just after getting the final result of the last group game. Bit of an upset from what we'd seen earlier on. Carson Kinnegad 21 points, Athlone 212. So a 3-point win for Carson Kinnegad. Now, run that one through your head. Does that mean that Carson Kinnegad now go through to the knockout stages? We'll get out the table or get out a calculator here.
Well, it'll put Carson Kinnegad on 4 points. Shamrocks are on 4 points. And Tubberclair are on 4 points.
Well, yeah.
So after that, I don't know. I don't know who bet who or the permutations that involves. But yeah, Kinnegad will be on 4 points. Tubberclair are on 4, and Mullingar Shamrocks are on 4. So I'd imagine the mini league with that.
I think the mini league, and I think Tubberclair are the ones to lose out. But hey, don't shoot me if I'm wrong, because there's been that many permutations and if, ands, buts, and maybes. But they are the 3 scores anyway from today. St. Lomas 316, Tubberclair 1-6, Carson Kinnegad 21 points, Athlone 212, and in this game here it finished the Downs 15, Mullingar Shamrocks 1-6. So that's section A of this championship completed anyway. Look, we'll be back on air tomorrow here covering another intermediate game. I think Castlevania and Maryland, which is almost a winner takes all game as well for promotion, followed by clash in the section B of the senior football championship between local rivals Moat and Colliery. Again, one to look forward to. So by then we'll know a lot of the permutations. James, we're going to thank him for joining us because he has to go and get ready. He's playing tomorrow. Nothing game for you as such in that you have qualified for the table, but I'm sure you'll want to finish the group 100%, 5 from 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's the aim. We're already through. Like I said to you at the start of this, you always try and get to the quarter final when you're starting off your championship. We're after doing that now. We want to finish in a high. There'll be nothing worse if we go out tomorrow, we lose, and then we have a quarter final the following week, and the heads are down rather than up. So we're going all out to win this.
Well, look, thanks very much for joining me here on Co-Coms. Sarah Gavin was on the camera all day today. Thanks to her, Sarah, and Mark on the desk over in 24/7 TV. Thank you again, Mark, as always, for your professionalism. I'm Ray Gavin. We'll be back with you another game tomorrow. We'll see you then.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Sevens Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships. Clark's Bar, wishing all teams the very best today. MJ Stone Building and Developments, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Murtagh Precast.